What is going on, everybody? It is episode 295 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I'm here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Thank you for sending cool and chill vibes. We need a cool and chill show today.
What?
And we have the perfect guests for a show just like that. Introduce yourself, please.
Yes, we are having a great show today. My name is Kellen, and I am also here with...
I am High Energy Serge Dupria, a.k.a. Serge.com. Nice to see you guys. I still have a sinus infection, so my voice is going to be weird. So I can't really do good ASMR, but I'll try.
Are we going to whisper the whole show?
No, we are not. Speaking of Serge has an announcement to make, does he not?
Yes, I do. Last time there was a bit of confusion about me and shaving my head and everything, because it was kind of like, it was an idea we were tossing around. If we get 10 of the party, what are they called?
Crisis parties.
Crisis parties. If we get 10 crisis parties on the pod today, I will shave my head, like big bald. I've done it before. I don't mind doing it. It'd be a nice change. It'll probably let my scalp heal up.
And will you be doing that live?
I don't know if I should do it.
Or in a separate video or
yeah,
what?
it'll definitely be content. It's definitely content.
It's all definitely
I
content.
think we should make a video that's like one of those early 2000s skate videos, but it's just a montage of you buzzing your head. To get some awesome baller music, get some weird clips from old cartoons that are in there just randomly. You know the vibe.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I just want to abide by what everyone else wants me to do, because I have no internal direction. I just do what everyone else tells me to.
You're just happy to be here, man.
I am.
And also, if anyone else has wagers they're willing to take for the same amount, 10 crisis parties, say it now or forever hold your peace.
Yep.
Mine is that I will watch all of the Harry Potter movies.
Whoa.
But you've never seen them?
I haven't seen them. I wasn't allowed to see them. So if we get to 10 crisis parties, I will be watching the Harry Potter series.
And in the chat, they are gaslighting me. They're saying Happy Friday, Brett, as usual.
Well, answer the poll, guys.
Yes. So I have put a poll up there, guys. I asked you, what's your favorite day of the week? Is it Friday or is it Saturday? I have a sneaking suspicion that the answer for most people is actually Friday. Kellen disagreed with me.
But there is an objectively correct answer, and it's Friday.
Why?
Look, wow, you're already getting aggressive. Friday night is just so much better than Saturday night.
Way better.
Because on Saturday night you have Sunday scaries already.
No.
True.
Friday night is the lowest stakes night of the weekend.
It's just better. It's just
you've got everything ahead of you.
But I refuse to let 6 hours define a whole day. And Saturday, you've got more good. Maybe the tail end of Saturday is a little bit wonky. But when it comes to Friday, you only get a tail end of joy. You still have to work and go through the nonsense throughout the day.
It's the anticipation and excitement that you feel about the weekend throughout the day on Friday.
Absolutely.
And everything feels lighter. Even Thursday feels lighter because you're looking forward to Friday, for me at least.
So that's how you feel today?
Yeah.
Well, good. Guys, we are going to see Knock at the Cabin tonight, so that review will be up tomorrow on timcast.com. There is also a review for Velma that just went up today at 1 p.m. If you want to see me look more dejected than I've ever looked in my entire life, I suggest that you wait until this episode is over and then go check that out if you want to see absolutely dejected Brett.
That was the second to last installment of our Velma Season 1 review series, and we're almost done, but we might decide to retire by the end of it, guys. Unless you leave a thumbs up and a comment on the video.
Oh, wow. We're already 2 down. I don't know if you guys saw that. We're already literally 2 down.
How do you feel about that?
It's going to be a good day. It's going to be a really good day.
Yeah, I just want to contribute, guys. That's all.
I will say
there was one that was 99, and then there was one that was 100. Wouldn't that be 2 parties?
Yes. Well, it'll come after. It takes. They're on timers, so that will happen.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Dude.
So much money.
The reason for
bread
the
over
99 and the 100 is like one is for Android and one is for Apple phones. One of them takes a penny off of every transaction.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. So we got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. The first story is rather serious. There was a man named Nathan Chasinghorse who was an actor, a young actor in the movie Dances with Wolves. I think my dad's favorite movie of all time. Oh. He played Smiles a lot in Dances with Wolves, and he has been arrested for very, very serious crimes and allegedly running a cult known as the Circle. So we will talk about that. We are going to talk about NBA Youngboy. Yes,
No,
Youngboy
I'm
never
so
broke
sad
again.
about that. I'm
He
so
is
sad.
he is giving up the violent lyrics for his music and converting to Mormonism.
What are you gonna write about?
I
What
love
your
that
song's
Brett
gonna be
knew
about?
you'd feel strongly about this. I
man.
didn't know you would feel strongly
Everybody,
about it.
Mary was kind of iffy about talking about it. I love talking about like kind of the esoteric stuff around music, especially rap music. But in this case, I was like, I imagine Serge has stuff to say about this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm maybe not one of those people in the chat that you see writing, "Oh, Youngboy did it better." I don't know if you guys have seen that on the internet
Dude,
for a
you
long
trolled
time.
me a whole night while I was working. It just kept saying that to me.
Yeah, Youngboy did. Youngboy
The
did do
whole
it better.
night.
Yep, but you know, I get like that sometimes. I get fixated on things. You know.
So we're
Anyways.
gonna talk about that. We are also going to talk about Pamela Anderson walking back her comments. She had some very rational comments about MeToo a couple of years ago when Megyn Kelly still worked for what was it? The
Today Show.
The Today Show. I almost said the Daily Show. That'd be horrible. So she walked back her comments there. Again, this is more book tourism, virtue signaling book tourism. She's selling her book. And Stephen King, I found this absolutely ridiculous article about how Stephen King has a problem with the quote unquote magical minority trope, which I had looked into further and is absolutely considered like a real thing with its own like bullet point details about how you describe it. To me, I look at it and I just see a bunch of whiners in Hollywood that not even in Hollywood, but whiny critics who have to find something to complain about. We've got more stuff also. There's a very spicy Jeffree Star rumor that we're going to get into at the end of the show. So if you guys are ready, we will just get right into it. Mary, are we ready?
I am ready.
Serge.
Yeah,
Kellen.
let's do it.
Let's
Yes?
go.
All right, we're going to get right into it, guys. So, Dances with Wolves star, he's not the star, but he was a main actor in the show, Nathan Chasinghorse. He's 46 years old. He's a member of the Rosebud Reservation in South Dakota.
All right.
Good. Oh, I thought you said, here it goes again. Oh, just turned off. We're off to a great start here. So he played Smiles a lot in Dances with Wolves. He was allegedly running a polygamist cult called The Circle and had members as young as 13. There's alleged victims as young as 13. It's disgusting.
Yeah, this is giving Ezra Miller.
Yeah,
and
that was the first
Nick
thing I thought about.
Cannon,
Right.
Ezra Miller, especially because he was basically like trolling an Indian reservation to do this.
Yeah, I mean, I won't say the word harem,
Yeah.
but like he has over his years terrorizing people collected a group of women that has been loyal to him.
Yep.
And the last we heard was that he was in Vermont on his farm, supposedly providing shelter to a young family, a single mother and her children. And that father actually was still in Hawaii and trying to get a protective order out on Ezra to get him away from the children.
So Chasinghorse, he only acted in about 5 or 6 things as recently as 2005, but I did see something else on his IMDb that was in pre-production. So I don't know if he was coming back to acting when all this stuff happened. Sometimes stuff sits in pre-production for years and years and years. But they found drugs. They found videos of him supposedly assaulting women. They found, and apparently not just the women that lived with him, but accused of also like basically pimping out these girls to paying customers. Like,
yeah, a
he
lot
got
of
kicked-
people responded to this situation saying like, we were all waiting for this to happen. We were all waiting for him to get caught. And if you're, thank you.
Oh, there it goes.
Bring the money. Let's go.
I wanted to change
that
the
money.
colors
That is
behind
so
us to green and
ridiculous.
yellow.
Yeah.
Would have been very Surge. Oh, and it's saying Surge. This is your
Yeah,
day.
this is my day.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I thought the same thing.
It's a different spelling, but still.
Yeah, same diff.
But people have had the notion that this guy is dangerous for a while now in the Native American community, and
He was
they've
kicked
been
off
waiting
of
for him to get caught.
He was kicked off the reservation in Poplar, Montana.
Yeah.
Years ago. So they knew this
People were
was
saying like, I'm scared to even take my children to the
No.
park. things like this.
And like not just Ezra Miller, but I just wondered, is this the type of thing where it's going to just disappear from the news because it's not a current year actor? I think it will. Unfortunately.
I mean, he is, after all, a former child star.
Yeah.
And I do think that has to be addressed. I think him being a former child actor probably caused him, at least in part, to become a maladjusted, dangerous person. And that happens far too often. I guess Ezra Miller would fit in the same category, actually.
Yep. So when they threw him off the reservation, it was for allegedly for allegations of human trafficking. So they were aware of that aspect of it well before all of this. Thank you.
We were just talking about polygamy on a recent show as well, because it wasn't Nick Cannon that was talking about it, was it? It was somebody else.
No, it was Akon.
It was Akon, yeah.
Who's married to, he has 3 wives.
People were bringing up Nick Cannon as well. Now, he doesn't have 3 legal wives, Akon, but they're probably like private ceremonies that don't have any papers, just like the one that Kanye just did with Bianca Censori.
What's with all the fake weddings?
I don't know. Hollywood's weird. They do that a lot. Probably for financial reasons, but also because none of them are religious. I don't know. Like I feel like this stuff goes in a slippery slope where like you start to accept certain things as normal that just are not normal, polygamy being just one example, and then it leads to some very destructive, I guess, social contagions. Yeah, like because in an insulated group, especially with polygamy, it's like you're going to cause interpersonal conflict at the very least, but abuse when it gets to a certain point.
And the other thing about this is like we've kind of built a society now where you're not allowed to disapprove of anything. Like, and I'm kind of I guess I fall into that category a lot of the time because being more libertarian than the rest, like the idea is like, as long as you're not hurting anyone, what do I care? But a lot of people don't realize that these are kids. You are absolutely harming children.
And because there are marriages involved, there are, of course, children involved.
Exactly.
I want to know if this is something that's gone on throughout history, because they said he used his medicine man guise.
Yeah.
Right. Is it I wanted to see if it was a Sioux thing. It said Sioux, right?
Someone did comment on this story saying, I heard of him being a holy man years ago and knew something wasn't right. Having a holy man in my husband's family, I know there are years of learning, and not just anyone can be a holy man. This is like a special status in their tribe or in a lot of different tribes. And he said, I hope he's given the maximum time in prison with no plea deals.
Wow, true.
It's bad enough that there are many Native women and girls who disappear without having one of your own being responsible for those horrible crimes.
How are you supposed to know who's a true holy man and who's not? I mean, I guess you're going to have a gut instinct. But like one of the criticisms of the Mormon religion is that it was like a 14-year-old that went into the woods and was like, hey, found these scriptures from God.
I don't know a lot about Joseph Smith.
I know a lot about it.
But the point
we'll get into it later.
We will. We have a better
Sure. My point is not so the Mormonism, but the fact that it's like, how are you supposed to know? Like back then, like without the internet, with just like word of mouth being the best way to tell stories, like when do you trust a guy claiming to be a holy man and have your best interest in their heart?
Irrespective
and when
of,
are they a phony? Like, how are you supposed to know?
Irrespective of which religion it is, everyone knows that powerful people use religion and religious authority as a cloak for their bad behavior and their personal deficiencies. And this looks like one of those examples.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, even Scientology has its claws very deep in Hollywood.
Absolutely.
I didn't even know that Will Smith and his family were Scientologists, but I just learned that recently.
I didn't know that.
I guess they're less public about it than a lot of other celebrities, like Tom Cruise, for instance.
Yeah.
But
He kind of
like
became
there
the de facto face of it after the couch.
After
Why
Tom
hasn't
Cruise.
like
Yeah.
Alex Jones gone in and like exposed what Scientology? Like everyone kind of like knows
Yeah.
what
They're
just super
Scientology
litigious.
is.
They're super
but
litigious.
No one's.
And
There's no
Right.
videos, there's no
dangerous.
photos. Like at least not.
and
that I'm
it's
aware
become
of.
a little bit of a punchline
Yeah,
for
it
us
definitely
too.
is.
I
It
won't say
definitely
we're
is.
not part of that, and it's because of what you just said, Brett, that we have this culture where you can't disapprove of anything.
Yeah, that's my.
That they are getting away with using religion to accelerate a secular dogma.
Yeah. And that's like when I think of like this type of would he be called like a false god of sorts? Like is that what you call false prophet of sorts? Like I think of all the things we're not allowed to question in society anymore because Fauci says so, because somebody else says so, and we've built this society where you're not allowed to ask any questions, and it gets worse.
Chasing Horse trained all 5 of his wives, whom he lived with in his Las Vegas residence, to use firearms and told them to shoot it out with police officers if they ever tried to, quote, break their family apart, and instructed his wives to take suicide pills if their plan failed.
This is like
totally not culty at all.
This is like
the pills were given to police by 2 women. So look,
it sounds like Branch Davidians.
I saw a crazy take on Twitter after this was reported, where this guy was like, this guy was like, oh, it's just alleged. Like all of this MeToo stuff is reporting on it before we know if he's guilty or innocent. But I mean, if you've got the freaking cyanide pills and you've got the records of this happening,
if there's
they had
videos
enough
of it happening,
evidence to warrant an arrest, right?
We're also talking about
he's been charged,
minors.
not convicted.
Yeah, true. It's minors. It's not like
we're talking about minors. We're not talking about adults on a bad date. We're talking about stuff that even if they were consenting, it would be a crime and illegal.
When it comes to talking about alleged incidents with celebrities, especially, we're so used to being suspicious first.
Well, it was also
because it's all been diluted.
It was also normalized very recently in history, like the 50s and 60s, even the 70s. There was constantly famous people who had like teenage partners.
Yeah.
And it was just normalized.
Jerry Seinfeld.
I didn't know that.
Like that was a thing. I mean, Hillary Duff and who was that guy from? No, it wasn't Sum 41, or it was a Good Charlotte.
Yeah.
Like that. Things like that were actually considered more normal back then.
Even like incestual stuff too, like within the family.
Woody Allen, it's a huge one.
Yeah, but Woody Allen is now kind of
and now like
grata.
The terms about like that we used to talk about these things have been so abused and diluted that when you say the word misconduct, it's referring to Aziz Ansari having an awkward date and Woody Allen's incest scandal at the same time.
It's such a ridiculous comparison.
Right, you know? Exactly.
It's absurd.
So we're not even able to talk about this. We're all like talking past each other when these things come up.
And the idea is that like you're not allowed to take the opinion one way or the like. If you're the guy on the other side of this argument who's like they were consenting, no, they were underage. They can't consent.
I mean, it's arguable that even if they weren't underage, there are still cult-like aspects to this story.
Absolutely.
That means he was threatening them and as well like their children to stay in this situation. They have children younger than 16 in this household.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is this kind of Hollywood's fault for the moral decay that we're experiencing right now?
I wouldn't even like
Hollywood,
a lot of it comes from the same area, right?
Is it the entertainment world's fault?
Yeah.
For degrading our society as far as it has been kind of degraded to?
Would he be at this point without being a former child
star?
Well,
I'm not even saying just him. I'm saying like, but in general, how do we get to this point, right? Like, is this happening in other countries? Like, is this type of stuff as prominent as it is here?
Well, of course, polygamy is common in a lot of other countries.
But I mean, like the conversations about abuse and stuff like this.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I like. It's difficult to say like when. I mean, even things like the foundations of Islam, for instance. Like the wife of Muhammad, Aisha, who was 9 years old, which is written in the Quran. It's like it's stated as such that the wedding was the marriage was consummated when she was 9, but he married her when she was like 6 years old.
That's ridiculous.
Even then, I promise you, even then it was looked upon as like odd because she hadn't reached puberty yet, so she was unable to, you know.
Well, it's even taboo
procreate.
to point out that like the life expectancy in a lot of these like ancient times was 30, 40 years old.
Yeah. Well, 40, 50,
and you can acknowledge it, but it's even taboo. That doesn't make you elderly when you're 30 or 40. Right. It just makes you near death.
In the chat, KM says, "Are they talking about MILF Manor?" Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. How do you get to the society we're at now? So yesterday I was reading a bunch of the reviews for MILF Manor, and all of the reviews were along the lines of like, "I feel like I need to take a shower as soon as I'm done with the episode." I love it.
That's the goal.
That's
the goal to make. That's what I've said on this show before, and I seem like a crazy person when I point it out. But it's Hollywood trying to get you feel like you're the creep.
Yeah.
You're the creep, not them. They're always pointing the finger at the viewer. Like, you're watching this because you're messed up. We're not messed up for making it because there's a market for it and it's your fault.
It's just business for us.
I'm honestly just shocked that MILF Manor has taken this long to become a thing. Like, why? I thought it. I
mean, there are other versions of it. Like, I think there's one called Back in the Groove that we already talked about. But hopefully, you can make a dating show that features women in a certain age range without making it into a weird incest thing with their sons.
Where you touch your own child's
It's literally
ass.
disgusting.
Yeah, that is a weird twist. It's like they had a good idea, and they're like, but wait, guys.
I mean, was it even a good idea
what
in the
if
first
they bring
place?
their kids?
It was a bad idea, and then they made it an even worse idea by far.
I'll push back a little bit because it's normalized for like a 50, 40-year-old man to be with a 20-year-old woman.
I don't know if that is normalized anymore.
I think it is.
I think it maybe not in the media, but I think it's still very common.
I'm just
What
saying
about
they
Leo?
would never make a
Literally,
show.
I was just going to say
but that's not-
DiCaprio.
but we're not
They'd never
living-
make a
yeah.
DILF Manor.
Yeah.
Like Brett pointed out, they would never do that because it's not socially acceptable.
Because like
Yeah.
the guys
Yeah,
on The
true.
Bachelor, not necessarily the specific Bachelor show, but Bachelors usually range from like the young 20-year-old stud and then like the financial mogul who's in his 40s or 50s. Like those Bachelor shows vary. Like you get a wide selection of men when it comes to age.
Also, these ladies are not MILFs. They're not. They're what you would call.
Far from
what's after cougar? What?
Gilf.
No, I think there's one that
Golden
comes
Girls.
after cougar. And
They definitely could have found a cast of a little bit better looking.
Well, no, they could like when your options are. Oh, by the way, you're gonna have to touch your son. Creepy. Like maybe your options are
The
limited.
physiognomy of somebody
Yeah.
who would consent to something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's that like star
pretty
for
bad.
fame and needs the
So
attention,
apparently,
needs
if
the
you're in your
clout.
30s, you're a puma.
Oh,
in
no.
your 40s,
Oh,
you're
man.
a cougar.
What-
And if you're in the 50s, you're a jaguar.
That's what it was. Jaguar. I've heard that.
I didn't know that.
That's
I'm happy not to be the expert on that.
the fact that these terms exist show that the culture has shifted in a way. Like, imagine somebody in the 50s, you know,
I
Dad,
love-
what's a cougar, Dad?
I
Like,
love how
that's-
well,
accurate-
Johnny.
That's what I'm saying though. Like I believe that Hollywood's next thing that they're going to push in media to normalize to us is group marriage.
Yeah. I mean, Sister Wives is already a thing as far
It
as
is.
TV shows. Like, there's a
And
TV
once you
show
go
called-
there, you go to incest.
This is
really
great.
quickly.
If the next story that's here is what I think it is, this is fantastic segue material going towards it. Is it the Youngboy thing that's going?
We're
next?
going to be talking about that after Super Chats.
Okay,
yeah.
Yes.
fantastic. That's great.
Speaking
Do you
of
wanna
which,
get to
let's
Super Chats?
let's just go
We
to
can do
Super
whatever
Chats,
we wanna do.
Mary.
Yeah.
Okay. Waffle Sensei said, "People of Earth, lend me your energy."
Nice.
Thank you.
Linda T said, "Feel better, Surge." # bald Surge.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you for the big super chat, by the way, Waffle Sensei.
Thank you.
B Mafia 716, thank you again. Big super chat.
He says,
said,
okay,
one down, 9
90.
to go.
2 down now,
No,
actually.
2 down.
Yeah.
Come on, PCC fans.
We're
Thank
getting there.
you guys. Sir Rank Productions said the question was day, though, not night. Wait, what?
Yeah, Saturday or Friday. It
But
wasn't about the evening.
The experience of Friday during the day is shaped by your anticipation.
So
of
your
the
Friday
night.
nights are just that good.
Yes, they are.
It's not even that they're that good. It's just the anticipation of it.
True. Yeah.
Friday-
Listen,
During the
I'm not
day
saying
is
I dislike
nice.
Friday nights, but I think I get
'Cause,
more
like,
out of
you could do anything.
Saturdays.
Right now, Saturday is
sleep
in the
in on
lead.
Fridays.
Saturday is in the lead with 51%.
That's what-
Guys, get your
Yes.
votes
Guys
in.
are just
Get those late mail-in
objectively
votes
wrong.
in.
Get those
I'm
late
sorry.
mail-in votes, and we'll count them at 3 in the morning. I will pull
Yes.
You
pull
guys
a
are gonna
duffel
put
bag out.
pizza boxes and tape
So,
them to the window.
In fact, oh,
Thank
Yes,
you.
that's-
I will
Three.
pull a duffel bag out from under the desk.
so
I love that that's from a Surge commercial. That's so great. That's so
you
great.
need to have that's like the audio equivalent of like one of those seizure warnings in TV shows.
Surge,
Yeah,
did
that's
you drink
fantastic.
Surge?
Yeah, I love it. You can actually still get Surge at your local Burger King.
That's a at Burger King. Yes,
you can still get it.
It's slightly
One of
better
the
than
worst fast food
than
restaurants.
Yeah, it is. But they have to have some
I love
redeeming.
Burger
They have to have
That-
one
That's
redeeming
sus.
thing.
That's as sus as you getting a burger at Waffle House.
Hey, I actually literally, I think I've actually seen it at some gas stations. They have it in a can that's like the taller can size like this. You can't. It's
Brett prefers
very
the
rare.
plastic bottle.
I do.
Dude.
Of
True.
what? Of Surge?
Yeah.
Not for most soda, but for Surge, yes.
Well,
Interesting.
it doesn't
Okay.
taste the same without the phthalates, man. You gotta get
The Surge
microplastics.
The Surge can is gross. The
True.
Surge from the fountain is good. Kind of like
Yeah.
Baja Blast, like from the store.
It's like
is
McDonald's
gross.
Sprite.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. It's just
Well,
slightly
because
better.
it's all syrup.
Yeah, exactly.
McDonald's Sprite is unmatched.
These days I don't even do that. I just have a soda stream.
Yeah, true.
Like
You're fancy.
Could you put milk in that and make milk soda?
Ooh,
You
that's
can.
good.
They have-
if you look up like the Amazon reviews for that, like you get every request, like every question, like can you put this in there? And it's like the same person
You
comes
put
in every time and
melted
goes,
butter in it?
"No, you cannot do that. It is bad for it. You can't do that, please." Like everyone's like the first one's like, "Can I put Jack Daniels in it?" It's like, "No." It's like, "Can I put vodka in it?" It's like, "It's no."
Wouldn't that be everyone's first thought, though?
Yes,
Yeah.
apparently it was.
Have you ever
That'd be
seen
awesome.
the soda Milkis?
No.
Milkis. It's like I think it's
Ugh.
Japanese or Korean, but it is milk
Of course
soda.
it's Japanese.
Yeah,
or
of course,
Korean.
but it's pretty good. I'd recommend
no,
it.
I think it'd be good, like a cinnamon milk,
like it. I think
carbonated.
you'd like it.
I
Give
don't
it a
like
shot.
carbonated stuff.
It's very lightly carbonated.
Imagine if it was warm and carbonated. That'd be wild.
Pushing your luck, man.
There's a
That'd be
really
wild.
a
Little
really
much now.
gross one called it's literally called cocaine, and the logo is like
Wow.
the word cocaine in like and it looks like cocaine like spelt out.
This is
the
what,
letters.
soda?
So it's a soda, and it's like if somebody made a even worse version of Tab.
It's like a joke on like, yo, can you pass me a Coke? And they're
Yeah.
like, you mean a Coca-Cola? No, I mean a cocaine, please.
yeah.
Thank you very much. That'd be great.
Big Dave sent us 99 cents without a message. Thank you.
Big day.
Porco Rosso Forever said, I appreciate your enthusiastic Velma reviews. I'm pumped for season 2. Happy Thursday.
Look,
Are we going to review season 2? That's the question.
Like today could have been objectively worse. I forgot to watch it last night at 3 a.m. I had to watch it today in the morning before we did the review, and I was still dead inside.
In the fetal position,
afterwards.
just shaking, crying, throwing up.
Basically.
Porco Rosso, KMF Opposers said, bald is beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, Serge, you have
It
nothing to
is.
fear. Potatoes for Seamus said, Mary as Wonder Woman, now that's a movie to watch.
I've seen that. I wonder if I can pull that up. Hold on.
Pull up what?
Actually, I wouldn't be able to do that because that would have to be on my IG. Well, maybe I'll look for it later. He sent me like a deep fake of you as Wonder Woman and a deep fake of Hannah Claire as I forget what.
Oh
it
yeah, I
was.
saw one of Wesley as.
In one of Wesley,
Is
yeah.
it deepfake
As
or just a
Rocky.
Photoshop?
It's deep fake. It's video.
It's deep
Definitely
fake. It
deepfake,
replaces your
Oh.
face.
Yeah, and it's like the Wonder Woman. The Wonder Woman one's very subtly done.
Really?
Like maybe it's because like the shape of your face is I guess.
It's round enough that it's easy to impose it on something
Well,
else.
and Gal Gadot has a round
Who
face.
did this one?
I don't remember if it was potatoes for
Dude, you know what
Seamus or if it was-
Twitter needs? Like, you know how like you can go on Reddit and you can go to a specific thread, like r/whatever.
Yep.
That's what Twitter needs. Like, there should be a way to go to like just the Timcast feed, where anyone that wants to post
true.
about Timcast, it's like,
Let me
and that whole
see.
feed is just.
It'll
I know
just
you
be
can
just
On
constant
Instagram.
Eliza Blue, just Eliza Blue.
Instagram would
nonstop.
be cool too.
I'm seeing
Twitter,
if I
like
can find
not like a private group, like just a particular thread, like a forum, like a subsection.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Wasn't there
Um,
like a Discord for a while?
Yeah, but it's like we're already on Twitter. I don't want to. Don't take me out of the app.
Right.
You
I
know,
understand.
there's as many apps these days as streaming services. Like
There are lists.
There are lists. That's true. That's
That should
true.
work.
keep talking. I'm going to send it to myself here.
no.
I'm like learning so much about how Twitter works now. I'm really
You're
trying
falling
to
into it.
All bad things.
Oh,
Yes.
did you guys also see that the we're going to get 6 more weeks of winter?
Yeah, I did.
Dude,
Thanks,
yes,
Phil.
and then I
Thanks,
also
Phil.
discovered
Thanks,
that
Will.
apparently like 5 years ago, the governor of New York dropped
Yeah,
the
dropped it.
groundhog, and the groundhog died.
Yep.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Who was that? Was that Bloomberg at the
Damn.
time?
It was
thing,
no,
that sucks.
it wasn't blue. You should
Eric
find that because the
Adams.
the drop itself didn't kill the groundhog. The groundhog died like 3 days later.
You have the video,
This was like
Brett?
yeah, you
Yes,
should
I do.
find
Poor
it.
guy.
It's sad, but at the same time,
Maybe I should mute it just in case the
might be copyrighted.
We'll do this.
I love how you're just watching it to yourself.
Wait, it's Brett. It's not on the screen.
Oh, is it not showing on screen? Hold on.
You guys get to watch it
You're just
twice.
laughing
I
at
get
it.
to watch it.
Yeah,
That's so funny, Brett. Okay.
Brett's just looking at World War One
You
footage
see
and
it?
just
Yeah.
laughing. It's great.
It's good.
Nice block.
I don't know. I don't think it looks like me.
Yes, it does.
Oh wow, that's weird.
Okay, great,
That was great. Are you kidding
fantastic.
me?
I never saw that movie, so
I love it.
I now know what it's
You
about.
should make
Apparently
Brett
World War One.
the guy from what was Leonardo DiCaprio in where he's rich? Great Gatsby.
Great Gatsby, right?
There are a
you should be
lot.
The
Great
Man in the
Gatsby.
Iron Mask? No, it's the opposite of that. Let's do one more and then we'll move on.
Okay, Lazy Neo said, have you guys talked about Nityan?
We have not.
What is that?
I do not know. But we have not talked about it. I know that.
It's his birthday.
And then do one more for Surge or from Waffle Sensei.
Waffle Sensei said, Surge, I will also shave my head today if we get to 10.
Oh, wow.
How do
Okay.
we have
Sick.
proof, though,
Nice,
Waffles?
Yeah.
Nice, that'd be cool.
Well,
You
I
need to
think
post proof.
isn't he already got a shaved
He is.
head?
Yeah, I think he is. That's kind of the joke. But
Well,
if I do it and then you have to big bald shave, there's no.
you
hair.
guys don't touch heads though.
Yeah.
You might. It's dangerous.
That's
Moving
weird.
on
We're
from
moving on, guys.
the
All right.
sister wives
Yes.
topic.
So, well, kind of moving on, only a little bit. NBA Youngboy is planning to convert to Mormonism and regrets promoting violence in his songs.
Whatever,
That's good.
dude.
You're not a fan?
No?
I have a lot to say about the LDS Church because I lived in Salt Lake for 10 years, so I know a lot about it. And I was a raft guide for a while, so I know a lot about the whole story. Pretty much all the history about it is all sus. It's very suspect.
Well, he says that he continues to prove that he's one of the most consistent and streamed artists in the industry. In 2022, he released an impressive 8 projects, but he's gonna give it all up because he regrets making violent music.
Well, it's interesting. I watched this feature Billboard did on him.
Yeah.
And he didn't mention converting to Mormonism in that, but he did talk about his violent rap lyrics, and he believes that it was influencing people, maybe, putting these messages in their ears so that they would behave violently in the real world. And we've talked about that before because of not only legislation about using rap lyrics as evidence in criminal cases, but also just the idea that maybe a video game or a song or a movie or what have you in entertainment would influence somebody to commit a crime of some kind.
It's interesting to me because I've seen both sides of this argument from, if we were talking from people with their views of the world, I've got friends from both sides of the aisle that seem to take problems with the lyrics, with rap lyrics. Me, who it's never bothered and understand that one of the strongest arguments I've ever heard is the idea that it didn't catch fire and didn't become popular until white music executives started, pushing it as a brand, and a lot of people believe that it was a form of social control.
I've talked to Shane Cashman about this a few weeks ago. We had a conversation about I think lyrics, and what I was saying is it's you can't, it's entertainment. It's a product. You can't just treat it as scripture and be like, this is what I need to do.
Of course, but the reality is that some people do that.
Well, people need to learn. I think that's the bigger issue. that we
People
need
ain't
to
never
tackle.
gonna learn.
People gonna learn.
They
They
ain't
gonna
gonna
learn
learn.
today. And no, I think that's what it is. And it's because I love, especially when songs are over the top offensive, it's like comedy to me. It's like watching a funny movie, like a Jonah Hill.
It's
Superbad.
weird because when the culture was more used to humor and art that was like that, for instance, when Eminem was cool, we were still more innocent.
Yeah.
That's what I have a disconnection about. Why is that?
Less was okay. You know what I mean? There was less you could just get away with in a sense, or what do you mean?
I feel like people,
Less
even in
was
the
normalized?
2000s, the 90s and 2000s were more innocent, but at the same time, offensive humor raunchy humor, stuff like that.
You understood what a joke was.
Allowed.
You understood what a joke was. And I think that all goes back.
Distinction's been lost.
It goes back to not giving people the benefit of the doubt. You do not, when somebody says something offensive now, you don't give them the benefit of the doubt that it's a joke. You take it for the worst possible interpretation of what it could be. I think a lot of that comes from internet communication, meaning that I could have the exact same discussion with someone online and in real life, and the tones would be considered completely different.
I was just going to say, it's freaking ridiculous that there's no cursive font. Like some people use, like when you're online, there should be a universal font.
People don't know
for
how
every
to read
platform
cursive anymore.
Not necessarily cursive, but like it's a distinct font that shows that you're being sarcastic.
Well, I mean, you should just put /s at the end of
tone indicators.
everything.
I'm against even the tone indicators because it's like, if you don't get the joke, then you don't get the joke. It's not the end of the world.
But I think that plays a huge role in why everyone's so defensive. So we can complain about that. Like, it's stupid that they don't get the joke. But what would you rather have? Would you rather, make fun of the people for not getting the joke? Or would you rather have a society where people were actually open to understanding the interpretation more? The problem is a lot of people are so quick to anger that they might not even notice the /s or the eye roll emoji is a strong one that you can use as well if you're trying to indicate sarcasm.
Well, that's
it's funny because emojis have even been ruined with the skin tone thing.
With I was gonna say that's part of the reason like TikTok is so popular. Like you could argue the algorithm is addicting and keeps you on there and keeps you hooked, but it turned to what was popular about Twitter: short form messages, like quick to the point, and made videos out of it. So now you can convey emotion.
Still doesn't. I still don't think any of this means that lyrics cause people to be violent. I think it reinforces a culture to a certain extent. But what do you do? Like, it's their right to self-expression. They have every right to describe. This is the argument that I got in with a friend of mine who's basically saying that it shouldn't be allowed, which is funny too because he and me grew up listening to rap music together, and he's kind of come in this weird circle where he's now like he's like the stuff is bad and it's bad for the culture, it's bad for this and that. I'm like, okay, you might be right, but his individual right to make that music supersedes, in my opinion, what it means for the culture.
He's arguing it should not be legal.
Because, I mean, I don't know if he was saying legal or if he was saying that...
would necessitate enforcing it with violence.
I was going to say, they would have said that about the electric guitar when it first gained popularity.
Which is insane. You don't want to put more power into
the devil's music.
I was against the idea of them being able to use rap lyrics to prosecute crimes. I think that's disgusting. Like, I don't think that's fair.
I don't know. If you say something hyper-specific.
Well, that was pretty, like, if you're talking about, was it Bobby Shmurda?
Yeah, that was the case that but that got thrown out. Like
he got convicted on it.
Or no, not what was the recent one? They weren't. I believe they weren't allowed to use the YSL lyrics in their prosecution. For Gunna and Young Thug.
Yeah, it was Gunna and Young Thug. That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now Gunna's all in trouble and everybody hates him now because they think he snitched.
Yep.
like that's a culture.
People were mad at. It was right after that last Friday they released that body cam footage of Tyree Nichols. And well, one of the rappers tweeted Friday, like immediately after they released the footage of like free Young Thug, and everyone got mad at him. They're like, dude. It's not important right now.
The point is that nobody should be censoring their right to talk about their experience. And even if it's not their experiences, even if it's just how their artistic sensibilities were shaped by the things that they experienced in their life, even if it didn't happen to them, it's not the government's job to censor that, and it's not our job to tell them that they can or can't do it. We can make the argument that it could be bad for the culture. I don't know if I buy that. I don't buy that video games cause violence. I mean, that's an argument that's been made for decades. I mean, going all the way back to the 90s.
People are right to be asking the question of what does cause the violence, especially if it's related to rap music, because rappers, even after having long careers, still end up in situations where they're in shootouts, they're in gang violence. They, like, for instance, even what is his name? Offset.
Yeah.
Like,
true.
You can be a fully established person in this industry, yet still get tangled up in these crimes.
Yeah, rest in peace.
And does it have something to do with the music culture? I don't think. I mean, not worth asking.
Maybe, but
I'm not Tucker Carlson in the 2000s for asking.
Right, but maybe. I mean, like, for instance, like one of my favorite DJs from back in the past, like in 2013, I'm like, the name is blanking right now. But he was essentially caught in crossfire in Chicago because of something that was completely unrelated to him. Just in the area.
Takeoff. Sorry.
Yeah, it was not Offset. It was Takeoff. Yeah, he was one of the up and comer DJs and producers in the scene. Like very, very popular, extremely popular. And he was just caught in crossfire.
Well, it's
for unrelated beef.
It's a very interesting thing because I had a coworker that was really into the underground rap scene, and like he knew all these people that I had no clue who they were. But you'd constantly be like, "Oh, did you hear about this story? Like so and so died." And then like 2 days later, did you hear about this story? So and so died. And it's almost like what you're talking about, the music has an impact on like the underground rap scene. Yeah. Like the listeners, the general public, they know it's ridiculous. The people who have made it, they know it's ridiculous. But you've got this weird subset of people that like it is their reality. Like, oh, I have to be the best gangster out here. I have to like flex on people. I have to show up.
When taking it back to NBA Youngboy, when I watched this interview, I was actually really surprised at his demeanor. He's like a very timid, meek, soft-spoken person. Yeah. And he seems almost terrified of like his own career and his own life. And he said in the interview, like, he's absolutely terrified of other people, and he has a very closed social circle because of it. And he's afraid of the cruelty that people are capable of inflicting on each other.
He's got so much to lose now.
Yeah,
that
for sure.
His personality clearly isn't reflected in the content of his music.
Yeah.
So that's why he's changing it. And I respect his desire to change it.
I disagree because there's another rapper, J. Cole, who has a lyric, and it's like, everyone's a killer when you push them to their limit. He's capable of being a genuine, calm, expressive artist, just as he's able to be the party guy that's completely unhinged and will come after you. I think, and that's the beauty of being an artist, is you have that variety.
Plus, it runs the gamut. Like, if you listen to something like 2 Live Crew, and then you end up with something like Spice One, which has absolutely abhorrent lyrics that no rational person would have ever taken seriously.
Right.
Someone said it's the low vibration in rap music.
I just read that.
It causes low vibrational energy.
I think there might be something to that. I mean, because it's not just rap music. Like, when I put on like really, like, I tell Serge all the time that I love like hard, heavy dubstep, and it's like very low notes, bass heavy. Yeah, it's like bass and it's music. Like, dude, it's like drinking like espresso. It like hypes you up, you know. So like, there's something there that's doing something, and it's not lyrics. That's a completely instrumental.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
I mean, bass is in everything though. Like, bass is in my voice right now. It's just a frequency. So it's like, I think like dubstep in the American usage of the word is very different than like the usage of the word in like a UK terminology. Even like drill music and UK drill is very different than American drill music, and etc. It's influence. It's similar, but you know, they're removed. They're different things.
Do you guys think there are subliminal messages in songs?
No, but I believe the frequency thing. I think,
as far as vibration is concerned,
yeah,
you can only really feel vibration up to like 120 or 140 hertz, anyways. I think, and then
consciously
you can't really
feel.
Yeah, then I guess there's maybe something to that. I don't know. I have to ask Ian. Ian's the expert.
Have you ever heard a really high pitch and it just like it hurts, not your ears, but like literally like hurts your core? Has that ever had like a really like nails on a chalkboard kind of thing?
Yeah, there's definitely
type of things people put on their cars or
I'm trying
alarms.
to think of like another realm in which if music affects your real world actions, I don't know if I buy that movies do that, and I don't know if I buy that music does it. There's so many. There are so many factors that play into all of this stuff far beyond. Nobody just listens to one song and goes and does something violent.
I don't think it's just violence, though. It can be a lot of things like sexuality.
Okay.
Dude,
so lewd behavior, anything like that.
The Parkland shooter was listening to Mac DeMarco while he was on his rampage.
That's true.
So it's like,
Did Mac DeMarco ever speak on that?
I hope he didn't, because what would you even say?
What would you say? Like, sorry?
Say?
Like,
Yeah.
what is he supposed to say?
Yeah.
That's the same thing as saying, like, everybody who makes some piece of art has to co-sign everything.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
that's
Every enjoyer
is,
of the
yeah, helter skelter. Like, no.
Yeah, or like
So,
pumped up kicks or
as
whatever.
for NBA Youngboy converting to Mormonism, I'm struggling to make sense of it, given that he's from Louisiana, not a heavily
But he lives in Utah now.
Mormon
lives in
populated
Utah
state.
now?
But like,
Wow, no way.
how? I don't know. It just doesn't seem like the move that makes sense.
In what way?
Like, given
guess.
American culture, like the most prominent sect of Christianity is like evangelicals, right?
Yeah, but I'd immediately push against.
But he said
considering-
he was under house arrest in Utah and came into contact with members of the church that imprinted on him, basically.
And
That-
to
that-
clarify, I
Yeah.
personally don't think Mormonism is a Christian sect.
Fantastic. Thank you for clarifying.
He says,
appreciate
I'm at a
that.
point in my life now where I just know hurting people is not the way, and I feel very manipulated even at this moment. I was set on being the greatest at what I did and what I spoke about. Man, I was flooded with millions of dollars from the time I was 16 all the way to this point, and I woke up one morning like, damn, they got me. They made me do their dirty work. Man, look at the S these people that I put in these people's ears.
What is it about Mormonism that is attractive to somebody who's had this life experience?
I think it's the radical change.
Yeah,
It is.
a lot of rappers.
It's so 180 to the life he
Yeah.
was living.
Definitely.
Dude, it said he put out 8 albums or something like that.
Yeah.
One
Yeah,
year. How
a
do you
lot.
put out 8 albums
In
a year?
2022.
Here's what he
You
says.
know?
He goes. I wanted help very badly. I needed a friend, and it hit me. It was just cool to see someone with a different mindset that had nothing to do with
exactly.
business or money. Just these wonderful souls. So
That's what proselytizing is all about.
Is all about, right? Also, you guys have to check out if you guys have Instagrams, check out Extreme Mormons on Instagram.
is this?
It is the greatest
It's so
Instagram
funny.
channel. It's so funny. So it's
Yeah,
these
it's
two
funny.
dudes, or it's 2 or 3 dudes, Elder Jeremiah and Elder Matthew. And they go around and they do extreme sports in like the black pants and the dress shirt. And they say they're like, my faith, they're like, this rail is very difficult, but my faith is strong. And he's like, do it, brother. Do it, Elder Jeremiah. And they basically, they're very clearly not Mormons.
Yeah,
and
they're
it's
not.
supposed to be a joke, but they're actually good at like a bunch of different sports. Like they don't just skateboard. They also
Yeah.
bike. I saw the dude do a rail on a scooter, and they did like, they even did a couple of tricks on rollerblades. Once I got really excited and messaged them. I was like, this is the greatest day ever when they finally did one with rollerblades. And they just responded with ... interesting.
Nice.
like I was like, okay, that's a little bit of a low blow, but like it was very cool. So go check out. I mean, I don't think that the Mormon Church would like the extreme Mormons.
No, definitely.
What do you
not.
call do you call a woman an elder too?
I have no idea.
No, women can't be elders. It wouldn't,
Like
be, it
an
wouldn't be a thing
Eldress?
Based
there's not a thing.
Mormons.
whatsoever. There's like it's a very patriarchal religion, and that's what's interesting to see. Like over the years, I don't remember what year it was, but it was in the mid 70s when they decided that people of color were able to then become elders and were then able to become priests and etc. They were welcomed, and specifically black people too. They were kind of drawing a delineation between people that were Indian and people that were Latin and etc. They were saying, oh well, you can't be a part of this, but it's so deep. It's like I could go on about this for a long time, like I've said, but it's odd to see them now be like slowly becoming more and more I guess woke.
Thank you.
And seeing people like NBA Youngboy suddenly becoming LDS or becoming a Latter-day Saints. That's like the way they would say it. If you say Mormon, it's kind of like a tell that you're not really like a fan. They wouldn't call themselves Mormon. They'd call themselves a Latter-day Saint.
Okay.
But seeing this happen is like, I wonder if they went to him in particular to go and try and,
Is he a representative of the
Well,
religion yet?
I mean,
I don't know.
know if this
I don't know
has
if he
anything
actually
to
will.
do with like the Mormon religion, because like we've seen this Kanye.
becoming
Chance
This
the
is a mass
Rapper.
exodus of California.
It's like when you make it
celebrities.
as a rapper, like it's the trend now to go towards religion. Like that's
Yeah.
and to go toward the Midwest.
Yeah.
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 To-
Yeah.
to-
Montana.
to leave.
Yeah.
It's the trend for
Well, that's
right
what
now
I'm
for
saying.
celebrities
It's
to
like
leave.
it's such a rite of passage. Like that's what I was saying with the whole underground rap scene. There being violence there. Like you don't really see it spill out into the general public. Like fans of one rapper are not shooting fans of another rapper. That's not happening. It's like the rapper's crew of someone who's like kind of big in the small town against someone else's crew. You know, it's like, and so you get through that rite of passage, right? You're going to concerts, you're actually going to venues now and performing, and then you sign that major record label. It's like, and then you put out 3 or 4 albums, and then you go under religion. It's like this rite of passage that I think the performers go through. And I don't know if we see another music quite like we do in the rap scene, but it's very choreographed in this like
almost planned.
Yeah.
Not planned, but like it's.
I
like
mean, he's cleaning up his image, and I'm
Yeah.
not saying that as a bad thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do that for multiple different reasons.
Anybody listening to anything interesting lately, music-wise?
Oh, shoot.
I have music coming out, but
Yes.
yeah,
Tell everyone.
I
about
don't,
it.
Self-plug.
Yeah, I don't want to self-plug myself.
No,
but
self-plug yourself.
yeah, it's
Self-plug yourself?
I'm
I'm taking that one back. Oy.
yeah, but it's not out yet. It'll be out soon. I forget when the actual release date is, but we released a mix on Cool Contest Records, which is available now. I don't know if it's on my story anymore, but I'll repost it later today.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm seeing some pushback on the Mormon conversion here. Some people are saying they didn't even allow black people until the 70s.
Yep.
I didn't know that. And
Then
I
the
didn't
question
know
is,
I
did
didn't know
he
he
know
was
that?
on house arrest either.
Yeah, he was on house arrest.
Someone else said with the sheer amount of baby mamas this guy has, he's
got like
already
10
halfway
kids.
to being Mormon anyway.
He's got like 10
Yeah,
kids,
true.
and the woman he just married is the mother of
at
2 of them.
23 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
The
Yeah.
mother
wild,
is
dude.
the
It's
mother of
wild.
2 of the kids.
God, poor.
And people talk about Nick Cannon.
Well,
Like,
you know, like
This guy is way ahead of them.
Nick Cannon is just the most famous example.
Wow.
So it's
Wish the best for
I still say
him.
I still say good for him. Like if you
Oh,
like,
someone made a chart of Mormons and ex-Mormons in the music industry. So the Killers, I didn't know they were Mormon.
I didn't know.
They
That.
Yep.
were.
Yeah, and
They're
then there
not
are some
Mormon.
ex-Mormons. Brendan Urie of Panic at the Disco.
Yep.
Imagine Dragons.
Imagine Dragons is very famously very associated with the
That,
church.
by the way, that's the band I'm thinking of when I would make fun of when I said that the score is a psyop. I do believe that the score is a psyop, but more than anything, Imagine Dragons is a psyop. You do not just show up one day that
True.
mediocre and get that big,
True,
and
true.
just tell me that just
Listen,
happened by accident. It was
the-
a plan.
Their hits were at the
Their
time.
hits-
Listen, there is that one Kendrick Lamar verse of Radioactive, and that one's pretty good. But Kendrick makes the song, not them.
Well,
you
then
know?
he lowered himself to. They must have paid him well for it to be on that feature.
Dude, he's like screaming in that one.
Let's
Radioactive is radioactive. It
Let's-
is what it is.
there. There's nothing.
What have ex-Mormons provided for the culture other than chooginess?
Like
True,
there's
true.
nothing
Have you
not
guys-
sus about.
Have you
Imagine
guys
Dragons.
been to the Disney Castle in Maryland?
No?
So it's not actually the Disney Castle.
What?
It's this gigantic Mormon church.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Yeah.
when
yeah.
you're driving to DC, you'll see it. Like you're on the
Why it's
highway.
called the
and you
Disney
see the-
Castle?
Probably the
Because
temple there.
people have no clue what it is when you're like, because of how many people we get from all around the world, because we're in the
Right.
DC area.
Right.
It looks like a castle?
It's huge, massive, like white, like tall pillars with like a giant gold statue at the top,
whom?
on the pinnacle. Oh, some Mormon
Joseph
dude.
Smith?
Maybe.
Yeah, it's
don't
actually the
know.
I
angel.
don't know.
It's the angel Moroni, and he has his trumpet.
Wow.
Trumpeting. It's on every temple.
But yeah, you're driving to DC when you're on 495, and you'll look and you'll just see like kind of above the tree line this massive.
I've driven to DC and I haven't seen that.
You gotta
I'll
look it up.
into it.
Yeah.
Mary, let's go super chats.
All right, 1,000-Foot Deep End said, "This is the perfect week for Surge's crisis party wager, considering the party sound." Absolutely.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
kind of is. It kind of is meant to be, is it not?
yeah,
It was
I guess
Destiny.
We
you're right.
started off strong, but we're slowing down.
Yeah. Well, hopefully
I
we
want to
get
see
there.
him with the head
Come on,
shake.
guys.
Guys,
10.
come on.
I set the
Hopefully
bar
we get
high.
there.
I set the bar high.
10's a lot.
It hasn't. It's been done before. It's not
Yeah.
out of the question.
Correct.
Araftas of Stet said, "That's the Indian reservation my mom was from. Sad to see it in that state."
Oh.
But the thing is that he did not live on that reservation anymore. They did kick him off. He was now living in Las Vegas off the reservation.
X said, "What is the best sci-fi or horror on each stream
Dude,
platform?"
You would have to like pull them up to
No
watch
idea.
him. I did finally restart Battlestar Galactica.
Where's that on?
It's on Amazon Prime.
Oh,
The other night. Or I'm sorry, Stargate.
Oh, okay. I was like,
I got excited.
No, I restarted Stargate the other night. I forgot how good Michael Shanks is in that first season. I like Michael Shanks as an actor. So it's one of those things where I can get through a couple episodes a night, but it's not one that I can put on for long periods of time.
My dad was always big into Battlestar Galactica and Star Trek and Star Wars, actually, and I don't know why I didn't inherit any of it.
It's like for these shows, the funny thing is they're right up my alley because they're right in line with the idea of like episode of the week. Like we go to this new place, we experience it, and the first season has some clunkers early on. Some rough ones that definitely kind of in the same way that there's some like just like Quantum Leap has some ones that definitely would not be able to be made today. There's some stuff that would just definitely not fly today, but I'm giving it a shot. I will never care about Star Trek purely on principle because people tell me I have to. I will not.
Have the standards for TV shows continuing a long run been raised
to make it that long?
Yeah,
I don't
just
think
because of streaming.
No, I think what it is like there's only room for so many of them, and every network has their Grey's Anatomy or their Blacklist or their what do you call it? Even Criminal Minds is back now, but it's on Paramount Plus. Or what's the other one? So Law and Order SVU is on like season 9,000.
Right.
Like,
that's so true.
The procedurals are easy to do that with. I mean,
procedurals, yeah.
Oh, but don't even get me
That's
started.
how the
I'm not gonna rant about procedurals today like I normally do.
I mean, that's
I
how the
will stay away
animation
from
shows like The Simpsons are in like year 30.
Yeah.
You know?
Matt's S-Box Emporium, I can't read that, sorry. And Big Dave said Surge.
Surge.
He just said Surge?
But it should say Surge.
Caper2X said,
What's up, love?
like it was mentioned in Reservation Dogs and the ABC drama about a newspaper in Alaska, there had been a worrisome rash of murdered and disappeared Native American women, so this guy's antics requires closer attention.
If you guys haven't seen Reservation Dogs, I haven't watched season 2. Season 1 is phenomenal. It's one of those shows where to go back and watch season 2, I want to rewatch season 1 because it's that good, and I just haven't gotten around to it. But that first season is phenomenal television. Zahn McLennan and McLaren or whatever. I don't remember how you pronounce his last name. He's one of those actors that's really, really good and everything, and he's not even the main character in this. He's very much like he's kind of comic relief, if anything. It's very, very good, and a good example that there are good young adult or kid actor. Like all the kids in the show, I think most of them they're probably in their early 20s, but they're playing teenagers. But they're very, very good. Very good.
Creative Juice said, just helping chat reach the goal and letting you guys know I appreciate you all. I make stickers and would love to send you some if a P.O. box exists.
I don't know if we're ever going to get a P.O. box again. I would like a P.O. box again.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll open my own P.O. box one day.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's just, like if anybody's if anyone's going to get...
Better you than me.
You know what I've seen people do is they'll do the Amazon locker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so
that makes me feel like an e-thought. I'm not doing an Amazon wish list. That's
no.
I'm kidding.
Listen. First of all, we already know you've got a wish list. We all know it exists.
What would be on your Amazon wish list, guys?
Blackout curtains, because I want good ones and they're expensive.
I'll just get them for you at Walmart, bro.
They're not that expensive.
I don't want the cheap Walmart ones. I want some good ones.
Oh, hoity-toity, highbrow Kellen over here. We're going to call him highbrow Kellen from now on.
If you get cheap blackout curtains that are thin and they still let in light, you got to get the really thick, ones. Remember the ones that were in the hotel?
I don't just have blackout curtains. Cool. Mine are literally gaff taped to prevent any and all, literally gaff taped to my wall to prevent any and all light from getting in.
If you guys have ever seen the room of the Riddler, it's kind of what Brett's room looks like. It's just tape everywhere.
It is.
Photos of people.
It's movie posters. It's movie posters and that you can't see because the room is so dark. You can't see you can't see your own hand in front of your face.
It's beams of light with the dust floating through the air.
Greg Duvier said, here is for watching Velma, so I don't have to. Thank you.
Look, that review was... Did you like this one better as far as reviews go than the others? I felt like we were more broken, but it's like
it's easier to stop raging now because we've
like
said
Stockholm
what needs to be
syndrome.
said.
It's kind of like Stockholm syndrome, where it's I've emotionally identified with my captors, and now I'm just surviving in any way I can.
You were laughing at some things, but I was like, is that just a trauma response?
It was a trauma response. What was the? I laughed at one thing. There was one thing I laughed at. I can't even remember what it was.
I think it was Fred when he sees one of the girls' brains in the jar. He's like, I just learned that the most attractive thing about women is their brain.
Yeah, he's literally talking to a brain in a jar.
It was kind of funny.
It was stupid, but like at least they weren't saying like you're just a dumb white dude.
I was gonna say it's
you're
good.
A dude.
I haven't really seen major complaints in the last week or two from people about Velma.
It's lost steam.
Yeah,
no one cares anymore.
I'm still enjoying making the review. Like I'm enjoying making the reviews. Plus, we're gonna have to figure out, guys, after Velma's done and after The Last of Us is done, we're gonna have to find more stuff to review because the movies are going up on timcast.com. The movie reviews are going to be going up on timcast.com, but we need shows to review. And
thank you. Halfway there, y'all. Let's go.
Keep going, y'all. Keep going.
And for reviews, people would have to be okay with either it would have to be a show that's weekly, or it would have to be something in which we're just not going to get the review out right away. Like if the show drops all 8 episodes at once, I'm not going to not do my work for the day so that I can spend 8 hours watching some show that may or may not be good. It might take a week to get the review out, and then people will have to decide whether they actually care enough to watch a review for a show that's been out for a week. And then the idea is like, do they care because it's a review, or do they care because they want to hear our thoughts on something?
I wonder if there'd be a way to like get early access content somehow from like maybe.
I mean, if there is a way, we don't have it because bias.
So Serge is regretting his life choices. They're saying in the chat.
Nope.
Oh, guys, I will say we've missed out by not reviewing MILF Manor. We have.
Really?
I don't even think I would do.
Dudes,
what if I just did it myself? I just sit here by myself every day and review MILF Manor.
I don't want to watch.
I volunteer, guys.
People-
I'll watch
okay,
MILF
fine.
Manor.
If you need some help reviewing
I
MILF
like
Manor,
reality TV, but that's too far.
He's like, I volunteer as tribute. I too will watch MILF Manor.
Dude, I might watch it just to spite you guys for not watching it. I thought you guys did.
No, we talked about we watched a couple of clips from it, and I've been looking at the reviews. Like I've been looking at the reviews, not watching the show. I've been reading the reviews on IMDb.com, and they're hilarious.
.com.
We just don't want to admit.
Podcast.
Stop making. Don't.
We're bringing it.
We're not bringing that
again.
back.
Is that how you say it?
No, I said it like that one time.
No, that's just how Brett says it. He just says podcast.
I hate you guys.
Welcome to the Pop Culture Podcast.
Next chat. We're moving on past this.
Araftas of Stet said, bringing up Mormons and Native Americans in one show.
Yeah, true.
Nice.
Spicy.
A lot of history there.
RS Degurchaff said, crisis party goals. We're reaching 10 so quickly.
We're getting
let's
there.
go.
Carnell said, write this down. Get a notepad ready.
Hold on.
Castle episode ideas. Kellen and Serge go to Waffle House, and Brett and Mary make a podcast.
A podcast.
The skits practically write themselves. These are my requests.
Well, Serge and I do go get food.
That's basically reality.
Waffle House.
So
It's a reality TV at that point.
we do make a podcast.
I mean,
Dude, like, why is everybody got to hate on me? Why is it always me?
Yesh said, Brett Bussin, Kellen Trustin,
Oh, hell
Mary
yeah.
Sussin, Serge No Fussin.
That might be my favorite super chat of all time.
Yeah, interesting.
Mary
love that.
Sussin.
No kissing.
Am I
Nice.
sussin? Biddy Beasley said, Brett, the Hanna-Barbera sound effect library is not copyright for the Crisis Party.
Interesting. We haven't had any trouble with sound effects being copyrighted
It's short
so
and
far.
distorted.
Yeah, so we've been pretty lucky about that.
T-Bone said, morning PCC crew. I know it's not morning, but I just woke up and feel great. Just wanted to wish everyone a happy Friday. Will Ian be on tomorrow?
We have a special guest on tomorrow.
Yes.
True.
To be seen.
Yes.
Menthe said DILF Dungeon is more about fistfights than romance.
It's just dads fighting.
DILF Dungeon.
That'd be pretty
Welcome to the DILF Dungeon.
Let's do one more, and then we'll move on.
Jimbo said 10 crisis parties and PCC does a MILF Mana review. I did not consent to this.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean,
Don't
10,
worry, guys. I got
say
you,
10?
chat.
Yeah, I guess if we can do it, I will. If it means that I have to do the review by myself, I don't know if Mary
I'll
wants me
watch
to.
it.
Just,
I don't want to watch
And-
weird, creepy incest stuff.
Listen,
it's weird.
Mary, we've talked about how you did like Total Drama Island back in the day.
Yeah, I
and there
did.
are a lot of overlap between shows like that and MILF Manor.
But Total Drama was parodying shows like
I
that.
think MILF Manor is a parody, honestly. I think this is a giant, like,
You think they're playing 4D chess.
I think they're playing, like, yes.
You're giving them way too much credit.
All right, guys, we were moving on. Remember, if we get to 10 crisis parties, Surge, this guy over here, will in fact.
What's
shave his
good?
head.
Let's get it.
And
Come on.
before we move on, guys, could you
Let's
hit the
get
like
it.
button, please? Subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. We are almost at 51,000 subscribers. I'm
Nice.
very excited about
Heck
that.
yeah.
So we are moving on. All right. So Pamela Anderson, like a couple of years ago, had a very rational take on the whole MeToo mishgas and
Excuse me?
Yes, she had all that hullabaloo surrounding Me Too. She had a lot to say about it that was quite rational, but she's walking those comments back because she's got a book to publish and a book to sell and a TV show to sell. So now she has to take back what she said. So it says, Pamela Anderson says she has regrets over her take on Me Too.
This was all her take was? She said to Megyn Kelly in 2017, "You know what you're getting into if you go to a hotel room alone." Is that all she said,
How
or was there
dare
more
she?
to it?
How dare she?
She also talked about being a survivor of sex abuse herself from her childhood.
Yes.
So, if anything, she has room to talk about it more than anyone else.
Does she mean alone with a person?
So
Does
this,
she mean-
she's saying that she agreed with her mom's take on it. She says, "I can even take it a step further. My mother would tell me, and I think this is the kind of feminism I grew up with, it takes two to tango. If someone answers the door in a hotel room and you're going for a job interview, don't go in. But if you do go in, get the job."
That's weird. That's weird to say to your daughter,
That
for
is very
sure.
odd.
No,
Very suspect.
no.
But if you do go in, then just absolutely bone him for a job.
Okay,
like,
but
she's just
yes, but like, are you gonna bone him in a bad way so you don't get the job? Like, now you've boned a random dude and you have
don't
nothing to
say
show
that
for
to your
it.
daughter, though.
That was a
That's
polite way to put
weird.
the.
If you
it's a
do go
lesson.
in, then
The first
have
option was don't go
mind-blowing
in.
She's
sex,
saying she's
like-
saying be good at your. She's saying be prepared for the job interview.
Yeah, like she's saying,
It's just
don't go in.
It's just not the kind of
Oh
job
my
interview most
gosh.
people go
Do
to.
not go in. But
and she admitted
If
that
you
that was a
do.
horrible thing to say, but that's how I was.
wow.
So like here's my favorite part about this. It's like I think there in no world was it ever bad advice to be like, if you go to a job interview and the dude's wearing a robe, don't go in. Like
What is it with these dudes in robes around Pamela Anderson? Like Tim Allen just wearing nothing but a robe on the set of Home
forgot about
Improvement.
Right.
Well, it's Hollywood. It's degeneracy.
What's
it's awesome.
going
It's
on?
hilarious. These people
I mean,
are
that's
awful.
what frustrated me about Me Too all along, is that it was a Hollywood movement addressing a uniquely Hollywood problem that then got turned around to accuse everybody else in society.
And in this case, what the problem I have with her walking this back is the advice she's giving is good. So we're marching forward closer and closer to a day where if you go to a job interview and there's a guy in a robe, go in. By the power of feminism
Because
and
men are
smashing
so
of the
harmless.
and smashing of the patriarchy, just assume he won't do anything. In the real world, your eyes tell you things that are being seen in front of you, and you know that, well, this is a job interview. And then you think back to every job interview you've ever been on. You're like, well, in none of my other job interviews did I go to a hotel room, nor in any of my other job interviews did the person interviewing me wear a bathrobe.
Right.
I think something about this is fundamentally different from every other job I've applied to. Maybe I should take precautions.
True.
We are pushing towards a world where they're
only.
supposed to ignore that because we want to live in a joke of a society, a joke of a utopian society where you just assume that that he has no ill intention towards you, which is ridiculous.
It's awfully convenient how the MeToo movement ended up benefiting the worst men, the most predatory men in Hollywood, the ones who probably weren't named and shamed at all.
Nope.
The ones who remain in positions of power to this day, they will never get called out. MeToo actually ended up running cover for them.
Yeah.
And the skeletal organizations that were made for it, like Time's Up.
Silencing her words here, it just puts us further into this to this weird echo chamber where people say maybe we should teach men not to rape women. Like, yeah, we know that.
We do.
Everyone knows that.
We do teach that.
Saying that makes the assumption that you think people commit R-word out of ignorance, that it's wrong.
That's what they think. They're that delusional.
Well, these same people also don't want anything to do with religion. It's like, well, buddy, dude, that's when they also teach that in religion. It's like, first of all, we are teaching young men. Like, if you've got a mother and a father, you've surely had that lesson at home, unless you come from a truly
it's something that often doesn't even need to be made explicit, right? Like, don't R-word people.
Like, it does. Like, when you're a young boy, like, yes,
It's
maybe
different
that
questions
specific
than that.
act, but like, you do need to be taught. Like, I had to be taught to open the door for people, like the elderly and women, really just all people. Like, if you're going into a restaurant, into a shop.
Brett has a traumatic story about holding open the door
What,
for
you just
someone.
get stuck opening the door for like a couple minutes? That's happened to me,
like
which
it
sucks.
was like one of the early moments that showed me how far society had
pill,
fallen.
if you will.
Yeah, sort of. Like timid me who walks like with his head down in his phone or whatever he's doing, and always holds the door for everyone because I was raised to be polite. And I hold the door, and I'm kind of just waiting for an extra like long period of time, and I finally look up, and it's like a girl, like just an awful blue-haired feminist of a woman standing in front of me. She didn't actually have blue hair, but her attitude was that of a blue-haired harpy.
true.
And she says, the next time you want to hold the door open for a perfectly able-bodied woman, how about this? Don't.
Yeah.
And then walked right past me. Like, so she still utilized the door that I held open for her.
Dude.
And I'm just like, me who's just like, I didn't know you. Like, what am I supposed to say? I didn't know you were a chick.
That-
I didn't know you were a woman.
Was that in the Midwest? That sounds like
That's
a
the
Midwest
best
thing.
reply.
I was
I didn't know
gonna
you were
say.
female.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I was on a college campus, so I guess it could be.
That's
not society though. That woman was just absolutely insane.
These people are getting churned out into society.
I thought he was going to say, I
sure.
didn't hold the door open for someone who was like 50 feet away. It was the distance that was just like, he was in no man's land. Like, he was close enough that I could see his eyes, but he's far enough away. It's kind of weird for me just standing here. I thought you were going to say someone bashed you for like not opening the door.
No, the opposite.
All you did
That's
was not assume
ridiculous.
her gender.
Yes.
Yep.
And how dare you?
And I was basically
seriously.
just like, what the just happened? Like, as you would, as a normal, like reasonably able-bodied person would hold the door for another person who is reasonably able-bodied. It was kind of like the thing where it's like they were far enough away where it's like a far enough distance where it's maybe kind of awkward.
Right.
But it's just how I was raised.
You know Charlie Barron's?
Yeah.
Yeah, he makes that joke about that like literally numerous times. How he's like sitting there waiting.
You're
for,
holding. You're like,
It's like, he's
there was
waiting
actually
for
like
him.
a
It's
skit the other day of like
so
I don't
funny.
remember who the comedian was where he holds the door open for somebody and just like it's a never-ending
Dude,
like.
it's happened.
Yeah.
Like, I've had like 2-3 minutes of me just holding. So like, I chose the
Gotta
wrong
walk
door.
away.
The guys like
tough.
Or get a door prop.
It's like 15 people, but like there's also like 2 strollers, so it's just like it's a whole
if
thing.
you see the stroller coming, you can't.
And
walk
the guy
away.
was like the one. He's one of the dudes who works with Trevor Wallace, and like by the time it's done, there's like an ambulance taking a body out, and they're like,
true.
and then finally like a college graduation starts coming out the
It always
door,
is always
and
like
he's forced to shake the hands of the kids coming out of the college
I
graduation.
saw a video on Twitter actually yesterday after that girl doing the hip thrusts in the gym posted that video calling out that dude, calling him creepy for just existing in the same room as her. There was another video that got posted of this girl who needed someone to spot her and was like about to get injured.
Oh,
and
is
she
she
was like
squatting?
calling out and
Right.
she was like, hello, hey,
Oh, yeah.
hey,
Nobody wanted to help her.
excuse
No,
me,
of course
excuse me. Even though there are a bunch of people around, they're not responding
Yep.
because of this culture of fear that has been cultivated between men and women only because celebrities aren't able to control themselves.
And this has gone farther to like, I mean, this started before this. You remember that old story about like nobody would help the woman being assaulted on the train because they don't want to get involved because they can get sued. Like it's just like
I don't like that argument. I don't think people are truly thinking like if I interact, I might get sued. I think people are, they don't know what to do, and that's scary. And it's scary themselves.
People are really scared to do things in situations like that. They're really like everyone that says
has nothing to do with a lawsuit.
I would do this, and the keyboard warrior saying I would blah 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 blah. People are way more timid and more afraid to in those situations.
Because action like that
is it just social anxiety, or does it have to do with the tension between the sexes right now?
I think in that particular situation, it's definitely that.
Think about the video we watched the other day that I wanted to do for Cringe of the Day, where the girl's like attacking the dude, and the dude's backing up. He's like, I don't want to hit you. I don't want to hit you. And everybody just stares and watches until she actually attacks him, and he has to fight back, and then they get involved and try to stop him.
The bad guy.
And he's the bad guy.
Are they just watching, or are they
they're
going
like, how
this?
dare you?
Yeah.
Like, after
how dare you protect yourself? And there was legitimately brain dead, zero IQ, like lukewarm brained people in the comments saying like he should have just ran to his car.
Well,
I'm like,
I think we need to go ahead.
I was gonna say I was watching Mercado Law, and it's interesting that in certain states, it might be Florida, like for self-defense, like you can't instigate. That's not self-defense.
Right.
So like if that girl, like who's picking on a guy who's obviously much bigger and stronger than her, keeps punching him, or if she's like, you won't fight me, and again it's an antagonizing him, and then he does swing, that's not self-defense. Like,
you can only
like on her part,
you can only like if you're actually assaulted or then remember, assault doesn't mean like.
But it's not like that everywhere, which is why I was bringing this up. It's
you should learn your state laws, by the way, guys. Learn your state laws. It's important.
It's not like that everywhere. So a lot of times these women, like when you see videos like that, they were raised like knowing like guys can't touch me.
Oh yeah, that's a whole world star hip hop subculture of like women basically abusing men in public and men having to just sit there and take it.
Yeah, it is literally like it is a video
it's a whole video subculture.
My favorite videos are when it's like two women that get into a fight, and it's not even the fighting that's like interesting. It's all the men in the background. They're just smiling like, oh.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like this.
Here we go.
Are they not
even trying to pull them apart?
No, like their boyfriends are the ones trying to pull them apart, but all the friends of the boyfriends are just like, but it's so casual too. Even the guys pulling the women apart, they're like, come on, babe.
Do you guys feel like we're becoming a more violent society in general? Or angry?
I think it's not like it's really
that
particular.
will die with Gen Z Gen Z and Gen Alpha because they'll be too scared to talk to each other in public.
I'm gonna compare our society to like COVID-19, right? So like in the beginning, COVID was a lot deadlier, less infectious, and as time's gone on, like all viruses
become more infectious,
less deadly. That's what's happening to our society's like temper and mood, right? Like back 200 years ago, people just shoot you in the street, right? Like you have a beef with the guy down the street, you're gonna duel it out.
I mean, not necessarily.
But you were likely like you could die any day.
Yeah, you could. You was more likely, but it wasn't. It's not exactly like that 1883 thing that's currently on. I forget what it is.
My point is,
pop culture stuff.
Maybe like interactions were less common, but they were more violent.
People are more psychologically violent.
Now you're more likely to get into petty little arguments and petty little fights, but you're less likely to.
You're more likely to have someone record you.
Yeah, and people are more
it happens
willing
more often, but it's less serious
to psychologically abuse you digitally than they will to physically harm you. And I would rather I've talked to a lot of people. It would be better to be physically harmed than to be like psychologically abused for days, weeks, months on end online. Like in a lot of ways, not in the context of like, oh, you can just turn it off, but where you get endless hate messages, and every time, like I would never want to be a politician or a celebrity now because anytime they post anything, they're immediately bombarded with comments that are obscene.
It's like the Chinese water torture trap. It's like it doesn't hurt. It's the dripping of the water that drives you insane.
I also had a question. I don't know if you guys are representative of the male population since we.
Thank you for not assuming my gender, Mary.
We are probably at this table more informed on current events, right? So. Take this with a grain of salt. But do you guys feel like MeToo or the consequences, the aftermath of it has changed the way you interact with the opposite sex?
Yes,
definitely. And I think it's also one of not the only component, but a huge component of why the dating scene is basically non-existent now.
Is it?
When you compare it to how it was like 15 years ago.
15 years ago, you didn't have apps.
True. That's what I'm saying. That's another component. I don't consider that true dating.
The smartphone.
You're interacting on the internet. I do that with
Yeah.
Everybody.
Well, supposedly you use the app to find someone and meet them, but that doesn't happen a lot of the time.
I think most people find failure than find success on those apps. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
I just don't think anyway. Like, I think that combined with the Me Too movement has made like you see every day women saying like on TikTok they're posting about how sad and lonely and they just want a man to take care of them and then this and that. Guys don't post as much as that. It's just the nature of being a guy. You know, but it's the same thing. There's a lot of guys that are single, like they just get called incels, so like they're even less likely to talk about it.
I got a question to run by you guys. So there's the trope of like millennials hate answering the phone, and then it got worse as we went on. Like millennials hated answering the phone. Gen Z, like I watched a skit the other day. It's like a Gen X person answers the phone, and then a millennial just like. Hello, like, and then, like they wait for like the last ring, hoping that they pick up right as it goes dead, and so they can say they answered the phone, but they didn't really.
Oh yeah.
Do you think that part of that is because of the student loan debt that all of the millennials got into? They didn't want to answer phone calls from debt collectors?
I don't know what that is because I'm the opposite. I don't like texting. I want you to call me so I can get over with the conversation faster.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't like texting.
Like, do you think that could be a thing? Like people, like they're just like, I don't need to be bothered by all the debt collectors today. Therefore, I'm going to be scared of the phone. Like, because nobody ever specifies. Are you scared of answering the phone for somebody you know, or is it? Are you scared of answering the phone?
Pizza.
Well, okay,
that is embarrassing.
I do agree that that's part of it because like when I used to have to talk to vendors and stuff all the time, yes, I had a work phone, but like it gets exhausting telling 20, 30 people every day like the same like small talk spiel and like you know and letting them down like no, sorry, we're all good on this week. We don't need to buy your stuff. And it's like they'll cold call you a lot.
Courier
that's all they have to do.
Courier 626 says it's always scam likely, and as soon as you answer, they scan your active apps. But scam likely is like something that's been created in the last couple of years, though.
Yeah,
that wasn't
totally.
the thing before that. Like whoever invented that should get the Nobel Peace Prize.
Someone should rename. You know, I like the idea
True.
of like pranking someone by changing a contact's name.
Oh,
to
that's
scam
evil.
likely.
No, there's people who have done that. Like where like this girl found out her boyfriend was cheating on her, so he changed the girl he's been sending like dirty messages to. Like he changed his mom's number to her name so that he would send like effed up messages to his mom.
Oh wow.
Wow, dude.
Jeez.
Yeah, getting other people's phones is a whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird. It's a slippery slope.
Well,
With scam calls, what I do is I just continue the conversation with them and just rope them along to waste their time because I know they scam elderly people out of their wealth.
You guys know Pierogi?
Yes.
Yes, I love that guy's channel because he's just a genius. He's so good at keeping these conversations. It's wonderful to watch. It's wonderful to watch.
In that skit I was talking about, it was all the generations answer the phone, and it was boomers, and he goes, "It was that Nigerian prince again. He sure needs a lot lot of money." And then she hangs up the phone.
Man.
What a nice young man. All right, let's go to Super Chats.
Yes. Super Guy CRT said, "I request Mary Bear collection tour."
What?
Could be in the future. I don't think my collection's large enough.
Which one? Your stuffies?
In the back.
Also, we're a little over halfway to Surge shaving his head.
We're over halfway to 10
go.
crisis parties. We're running out of time.
Let's go.
I don't know if we're gonna get there, but that's all right.
X said you promised to pull up Greatest Hits Volume 2 today.
I forgot.
What is Greatest Hits?
You can almost hear his voice shaking, his lip quivering.
What is Greatest Hits?
It's
I want to know now.
just-
This is a big thing.
He gave you the timestamp, right? Or I don't remember what it was. You wrote it down. I know you wrote it down because I saw you do it. But I don't know if we still have
I think
it.
I threw that away.
Oh yeah,
Oops.
quickly. Kit Boga is also great. Sir Rank Productions.
Yes,
I
Kit
love
Boga.
Kit Boga and Pierogi. They do wonderful work.
Yeah.
Great people.
Halls and the Kid said Dane is the token Canadian.
Yeah, Dane is confirmed Canadian.
And Ben is
confirmed.
an honorary Canadian since he's from the frozen north, aka Wisconsin. This is all slander.
Well, he's from Idaho. You're from Idaho, dude.
Yeah, I lived in Idaho for many years. My family still lives in Idaho.
Listen. I didn't call you French Canadian.
Give me
I
the
wouldn't go that far.
Fair. But at the same time, I would say that, like, you know, we deal with the Canadians. We deal with those Frosties coming across the border.
Frosties? Oh, my goodness.
I need to know the timestamp. It was 14 minutes.
Thor said, I heard Serge and Kellen were getting swole. Shout out to
Facts.
PCC Greatest
Facts.
Hits Volume 2. Is that facts? Factual?
I've got it.
I'm working on it.
Sort of.
Yo, you got to start coming to the gym at night,
He
bro.
wants me to go to his, but I already have a membership to
Let's
one.
go.
So
You
I
got
told him to
like
come to mine.
you got the other one. What's it called? 24-hour fitness. That place is just
Planet
You're
Fitness.
doxing
Planet Fitness.
his gym
Well, I mean,
right now.
Because it's not.
Fitness.
It's 24/5, not 24/7.
Do they really have free donuts?
I don't know if they do that.
And you're
I'm
not
sure.
allowed to grunt when you
Yeah, they got a
lift?
lunk alarm. And when did that? I was like,
Why do you? Why?
what? I'm not doing it.
You can grunt. You just can't scream and be like, yeah. And Serge is like, no, I literally want to do that.
Yeah.
I thought there was somebody
yeah.
at a Planet Fitness that was just grunting and he got banned.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
I don't know.
If you're excessive, like I've even been.
How do you determine excessive?
Like, are you annoying the people around you? Yes.
Most people at the gym annoy those around them.
Which is I also agree, and I think public gyms are kind of like a ridiculous idea.
We need gender segregated gyms. It's just one side is going to be ruining that for the other. If you know
Do
what
we?
I'm saying.
Why? I don't know if we do. I mean, locker rooms, of course, but why the actual machines?
I mean, gender segregated gyms would then
They've already tried it.
Cut down on the
It never worked
TikTok
out.
content.
less TikTok content
Yeah.
to shit on
Yeah, they
the
already
opposite
tried it.
sex.
They tried a thing called Curves,
know-
and it eventually failed because
That's not what Curves was it?
I think so.
I thought it was just for like
it was-
larger customers.
No. I think it was
Oh.
also only women, or I don't know if it was named Curves, but they've tried gyms that were segregated by sex, by your sex, okay. But they didn't work out in the end because people weren't going to them. People were still debating or like defaulting. I don't know if it was more expensive. I don't know what
no, it's
it
because
was,
these
but
thoughts want.
yeah, they
the
want
attention.
attention.
No, I'm
Serge,
kidding.
Let's be real here.
Serge, you and I should go to the gym and make one, but we instead of like
We can't, bro.
we'll just reverse it.
You gotta
Be
come
like,
to Anytime
whenever
Fitness.
like someone, whether it's an employee, a girl, a guy, gives us a glance, we'll be like,
Okay.
oh my god.
At Anytime Fitness.
Start recording immediately.
You're like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
let's do it. I'm super down.
I can't believe this right
There was
now.
one.
Anytime
There was
Fitness.
one the other day where it's a video. It's like a girl. She's like it's very clearly staged, but she's like bent over and doing doing her curls, and then like it just zooms in on this guy who's just like this. As he's like trying to put the weights on the barbell, like without looking, because she's like right in his line of sight. And he's like missing the thing and knocking stuff over because he can't. He's like anything. Like he's like, even if I have to get hurt, I will not be accused of something.
Or better yet, we'll do it at a food court. So we're just eating, and then whenever someone
Yeah.
else looks at us, we'll get really upset.
Get really mad.
I stare
All
at
that.
people all the time. Like I
People
don't
watching
even
is a
think about
thing.
it.
People watching is a thing. Like I literally will go somewhere that I
it's the
know.
best part of the airport.
Yeah.
At least it was back when I did drugs.
But I've said before, I think
True.
it's because I believe them to be NPCs that don't perceive me watching them. Like even if we make eye contact, I just perceive them as an inanimate object.
So are you you're like the alien walking amongst the humans? You're like I am superior.
What is this? Did we get this
We're
timestamp?
watching. Yes, we're watching this for the next 3.5 minutes. It's going to be hard because we're not going to be able to see it in full screen. But
Direi proprio che ha tutta l'aria di essere una
Oh my
festa
goodness.
davvero divertente.
does that mean
Mi faccio più
Italian?
sicura di me quando ballo con un ragazzo.
I sound
All'inizio
It sounds
perfect.
ero
Italian. Yeah, it's
imbarazzata.
perfect
I sound
Italian.
La
perfect.
cosa più imbarazzante è stata essere buttati fuori dal
don't
padrone
know
di
what
casa.
it is.
Volevo piacere.
I like the
Wow,
pink
what
text.
is this?
Ma
What
sa
is
come rendere
this?
felice una ragazza. Come per esempio. Perché la persona alla quale ci si riferisce sa chiaramente che si sta parlando di
It's
lei.
like 2 octaves up. That's
Ora
crazy.
smetti la marsi e vedi di farmi lavorare in pace. Questo cane sa guidare la
It's
moto.
something a little
Cosa vuoi che
different.
ne sappia? Sì, questa sì che è un'idea meravigliosa. Snoopy non è un cane qualunque.
Wow, that's great. That's great.
Ok, perché l'anno scorso ho fregato un panino ad un prete di questa. Domando perdono, padre, perché...
Certo che sarai perdonato.
Amish.
Non è venuta a scuola.
Scusi, non ho finito. Ho preso il panino, ho tolto di mangiarlo. Prosciutto me lo sono messo tra le chiappe, l'ho rimesso nel top. Passiamo allo scorso anno. Beh, e lei non può andare a dirlo a nessuno, vero? Beh, vediamo. Vorrei cominciare da quando avevo 2
I would
anni.
love to know what they're actually saying.
I heard prosciutto in
I
there.
like the
Yeah,
I
but he
didn't-
did not.
I like to take that.
Quella
Ins-
proietta da dove? Di essere la nuova,
Deep impact.
Yo, in the chat, who speaks Italian? Does anyone speak Italian in the chat? Let us know how accurate that was, please.
Hannah Claire wants a Deep Impact 2 confirmed.
A Deep Impact 2. Wow.
Lopez e adoro mangiare. Uscire da questo posto di merda. No, stai zitto. Se trovo quella che
Oh my God, my blonde hair.
Carriera le spiazzo il collo con le mie, ma nessuno ha, Ve la fate sotto. Fai attenzione, Troia.
Why is this so funny? Why is it so funny?
Scoundrel needs to come back.
Nessuno conoscerà mai tutto quello che ho scritto, man. Già, finché non siamo caduti dal
man.
Leave Ben Affleck out of this.
Instrumental.
Look.
In the fall.
They're not wrong. Ivan Drago probably would have helped them pull it off.
Okay, so.
Adesso mettetevi tranquilli. La maestra mi ha chiesto di spiegare.
Pretty accurate, Mary. I feel like that's what you would sound like.
Why is I want to know what thought process went into picking the voice for each person.
Oh, it's so good, spot on.
Does anyone speak Italian in the chat? Please let me know if this is accurate. Please. I want to know. If anyone speaks Italian, please.
Ti aveva insultato e quindi se lo meritava.
Era un tiepido pomeriggio di...
Yes!
Era un pezzo che non andava a una festa.
Un momento! Non capisco che cos'hai da lamentarti!
Oh man, that's so funny.
Accidenti.
Sono diventata la belletta della scuola!
Io non sono bella. Ma non mi dispiace di aver picchiato quel bambino. Senti Ciccio, hanno organizzato una di quelle feste danzanti a scuola. Insultato
Are we going into the sunken place?
Why is this killing me? Why is this so funny? It's so funny.
La cosa più imbarazzante è stata essere buttati fuori dal padrone di casa. Ti aveva insultato, volevo che fosse una bella serata.
E se tu dovessi incontrare il mio caro agrodolce tesoro, dovresti dargli un bel pugno sul naso!
E così nessuno di noi ha avuto le Valentine che sperava di ricevere.
Tu sei il mio fratello maggiore, dovresti stare dalla mia parte!
Wow,
Ho scritto di tutte le cose fantastiche che Snoopy sa fare. Pronto, Ciccio?
I love how it goes. Oh, that's so funny.
È un bambino molto strano, santo cielo.
Thank you.
Oh man,
that was incredible, guys.
Who made this? Who's the person that made this?
Gross John made this. Go follow
Gross John.
Go follow Gross John.
Wow.
Go subscribe to his YouTube channel.
Defamation.
That was hilarious. I love that. Thank you, Gross John. Thank you very much.
It says they're all satisfying, but Maria is a star.
Maria.
Let's keep going. Let's read a couple more.
Joshmo32 Electric Boogaloo said, Youngboy has 10 kids at 23, according to Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm.
If he's Mormon, he can marry all his baby mamas and dodge all that child support. Smart move.
Hey, maybe
if he
that was the plan all along.
Yeah, if he becomes fundamentalist, it's not really like normal in the Mormon church or the LDS church to be that way. You have to be in the fundamentalist church, and then also, I don't know how much they'd pay out from the church because it's way smaller, but
I don't know.
Yeah.
Dumbledore said, violent lyrics are the problem. Hello, 1988. Great to be back. Folsom Prison Blues, Mr. Shorty, songs about MDK from the 60s and 70s. That is all.
Do you think the lyrics are the problem, or do you think it's the culture that's formed around the lyrics?
Culture.
Yeah.
That's such a larger question.
It is.
It's not just violence that influences people's behavior. It's definitely sexuality too. Like music influences people's sexuality.
Maybe more
for
so.
sure. More so actually, yeah. Because think about all of the girls who have listened to Lana Del Rey songs and then gotten into relationships with old men.
Right. Yeah. It's
I bet
if
that
anything,
is
that's
way
more socially acceptable, therefore more common.
I still think the tones have more of an impact than anything the lyrics ever could. Because you look at movies and you look at a scene. And then have you ever seen where they'll just take away the music and you just realize how much of a difference that like eerie music
Dude,
makes.
totally.
Now
As a
we're
DJ
done.
too, like playing some songs, there are some songs that will cause particular clubs to just go off, and then people are going to start fighting, and it's just.
Yeah, I
don't
remember
know what
us
it is
having that
about that. It's
conversation.
partly because like it's then culturally reinforced by
The
like
demons.
it's culturally
But
reinforced.
like it's
like that song
okay,
goes
so
off.
give
and
me
then
an
some people will
example
fight.
of like one song that you would never play because you know it would get the crowd too rowdy.
A lot of songs by Waka Flocka.
Okay,
Like,
and
I'm
do you
trying to think
think
of a
that's
particular
actually
one.
like
So
the
funny.
lyrics,
What?
or like it's because it's a song where a guy is
both.
literally screaming, it's bass heavy,
Right.
It's like
I think it's both. Because like it's the thing about like metal shows. I've noticed that the people that are in the pit swinging are not going to just go pick out random people and go, drop them to the floor. But if you're in the pit, it's kind of accepted that like this is what can happen to you in the mosh pit. But they won't go out of the crowd and go pick a particular person they have beef with and go hit them. It's really both. I think it's married to each other.
Now
itself,
I'm going to go listen to "Murder Was the Case" by Snoop Dogg when this is done.
True.
he's just gonna get all indoctrinated in his bedroom listening to like the
Look,
angriest lyrics of all time.
At the very
compilation.
least, the album art for Doggy Style should be in the Library of Congress. It should. It's a masterpiece.
True.
Joseph said most live and die never realizing how crazy life is.
True.
Okay. Yeah.
Sounds like that. It's like something I'd see on a doormat
Yeah.
or like a coffee mug. Well, you should. If that was original,
Put
you
on a
should
chuggy
sell it to,
little
like,
wooden
Home Goods.
placard.
It's a good little phrase.
Yeah.
RF Tasso Stead said, I'm sorry Kellen doesn't like the LDS church, but I think that's better than being pandered to about religious viewpoints.
Gross John just says, Brett, don't play the Italian dub clip. There's a copyright. Any other part.
Wait, you're using the timestamp they gave you.
Somebody gave me, I don't know if it was Gross John that gave me that.
All right,
timestamp.
we're going to cut it later.
Well,
then.
if we have to cut it, we'll cut it. What was the next? What was that one? Sorry.
I'm sorry Kellen doesn't like the LDS church, but I think that's better than being pandered to about religious viewpoints. He
There's
said.
nothing wrong with LDS.
I don't get it. Why Kellen?
I'm sorry. Yeah,
I didn't
don't
hear
know.
you say anything that was. Did I miss something?
Maybe just when I was talking about like the pushback on like how the religion was founded.
Oh yeah.
I was just saying that's one of the number one things when people like make fun of the Mormon religion. It's like, oh, you guys had a teenager basically just make up a story.
Didn't know he was that young.
He was
very
early or like late teens, early 20s, and then a lot of people called it out then. He also got in trouble in New York State for doing similar things and defrauding people, but that was based on the Christian religion, and they said like you're using this too.
Yeah, I've never. I don't know
goes
anything
deep.
about the religion other than that, really.
It goes deep.
S.O. said, once again, Brett has best teeth on panel. Well done.
Thank you.
Nice.
Beatty Beasley said, it's the music culture, like all death metal bands that run around hacking people to bits. Oh, wait.
True. But that was happening in Norway.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's
in the black metal scene.
Well,
That was literally
we were just
happening
talking
there.
about. Woo!
Thank
Six.
you.
We're
We were
still
just talking about Burzum because there was this
girl
that wore a dress that had Burzum on it, and it was like some Swedish pop star, and she got in trouble.
Right.
Because she didn't know the lore.
The history of Burzum. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
She's like, oh my god, I just thought it was like a cool looking logo.
It was a cool.
It is. It's cool
or
shirts.
a cool dress.
It's cool shirts. I like their stuff.
It's cooler if she's like, I love it. I love it. This is my favorite.
Huge fan of Burzum. Perco Rosso forever said, sound vibration and music affects consciousness. We've all experienced it.
Yes.
Yeah. True.
Let's do one more and then we will move on.
20.
Blazed Clout said, oh my gosh, have you guys seen the new movie You People with Jonah Hill and Eddie Murphy?
I've seen exactly two reviews of it, and both of them give me the exact opposite viewpoints. One person said it was hilarious and great. Another person said it was woke garbage.
Yeah.
I
think
know.
it's I haven't watched it, but from the impression I get from it so far from people talking about it online is that it's just like this idea has been done before. It's no longer funny to be like uncomfortable in another person's culture. Yeah. Like that used to be a hilarious thing to write about a movie about in the early
like
2000s.
the 70s and 80s and stuff before as well.
Yeah. It's like, oh, look how funny. It's a white guy and he's in China completely out of his element. Ha ha.
Borat?
It's like it's been done
Borat,
before.
yeah, Borat is a good example of that.
All right, guys, we're moving on. So, Stephen King is once again being hated on by the very people he panders to. This happens every couple of months.
I love to see it.
You love to see it,
I
don't
love when
ya?
they eat their own.
They do. So he's being accused of perpetuating what is called the magical minority trope, which is it's a real thing. That's actually something.
Here's
that
what
they
the
talk
trope
about.
is defined as. The character is a person of color, typically black, often Native American, in a story about predominantly white characters. This already sounds like Song of the South, which is why Splash Mountain got eliminated. Secondly, he or she seems to have nothing better to do than help the white protagonist, who is often a stranger to the, I can't say that out loud, magical N-word at first.
Yep.
He or she disappears, dies, or sacrifices something of great value after or while helping the white protagonist.
They love throwing that out there. They
He or
love
she's uneducated, mentally handicapped, at a low position in life, or all of the above. He or she is wise, patient, and spiritually in touch, closer to the earth, one might say, often literally has magical powers.
So just to point out, guys, that MovieWeb doesn't like it when we portray anyone other than white people as wise, patient, or anything like that. They want you to portray them otherwise. They're talking about it like it's a bad thing. But remember, it's not because it's a bad thing. It's a bad thing because they are those things while helping a white person.
This is definitely the same trope that people were criticizing in Song of the South. But I didn't hear the name for it until now.
Yep.
It's a reach.
It's a huge reach.
It's a huge reach. And I think what's the worst thing about it is you can point at any interaction between a white and a black character in an old movie or even a new movie and frame it as this if you try hard enough.
So he's got magical powers.
Around enough.
So is Aladdin bad now? I guess he's not. It's not a white protagonist, so
true.
it's not. It's not the same thing.
I didn't see Song of the South, but from what I heard about the plot, it's just there's an older black man in the Reconstruction era who is like a guide to a younger white male protagonist.
What was the one-handed guy's name from Happy Gilmore?
Oh yeah.
Does that fall into this?
Remember.
Does that fall
What
into
else
this
is
category? Ace Ventura 2.
They said that this would include Morgan Freeman in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Chris
Wayne's
Rock
World
in Dogma, Cuba Gooding Jr. in What Dreams May Come.
It was Chubbs. That was his name. Pardon me.
Yes.
Lawrence Fishburne in The Matrix.
What's his name in
Lawrence Fishburne,
Wayne's
that's
World?
He
What?
was the main character.
I think you could say
Well,
Neo.
dude, it just shows how that meme with the guy holding the gun at the other guy.
Whatever it is, it's racist.
Yeah, whatever it is, whatever solution you have, I am upset.
Do you know what the solution is? You know what they want? They want it to be that they don't want the white people as the main characters. They want you to swap them around.
No, that's still a problem then.
No, I don't think so. They
mean,
want the white people relegated to the background characters where they don't matter. But what the problem is, when they portray white characters as the background characters, they portray them negatively, like I was talking about on Will Trent. All of the extra characters are morons or mentally, emotionally, or psychologically deficient, whereas in this, they're elevating those characters, the minority characters, in a way that actually pays homage to them.
I just don't. Either way, stop looking at everything through the lens of race.
Well,
Like,
to the
dude,
extent,
actors are hired to perform a role. That's what it is.
To the extent that the magical minority trope actually is or was a real thing in media, it was only ever because we were grappling with the differences between cultures that have ostensibly had to adapt and overcome their differences in America.
To be able to
it's a good
interact
thing.
together. Yep.
It's a good thing that we use art to tackle those differences instead of doing it antagonistically or forcing one way over the other. I mean, think about like Salem and all of the artistic interpretations of Salem, and like the idea that these young white girls of a Puritan society were influenced by African voodoo to summon the devil.
Yeah.
Like to the extent that any of that was true or not, like all of its interpretations were, do you know?
No, I mean,
there are a lot of theories, but
Yeah.
like to the extent that those artistic interpretations of it after the fact ever use the magical minority stereotype against that I forget what her name was, but like the African woman in their community who was then put on trial. They were using these interpretations to grapple with that clash of cultures.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It like, represents a lot more than just that one interaction. Like, this is a good thing. If these tropes are things we can use as instruments to ultimately find unity with other cultures,
they don't want unity.
That doesn't erase them.
They don't want unity.
Then that's a good thing. But yeah, they don't want unity. They want more antagonism.
And here's where they go into their critical theory approach to it, because they say, on the surface, use of the magical minority character may seem innocuous or even empowering to minorities. After all, these characters are always depicted in likable and helpful ways. Many famous magical minority characters often become fan favorites or end up being focal points in some ways. Well, isn't that a good thing?
Yeah, it is, but it's
this may sometimes lead to breakthrough roles, and elevate the careers of actors who play them. The trope isn't also exclusively a male one. Think Alfre Woodard in Annabelle, for example. However, despite all of these positive angles to such characters, so let's throw the baby out with the bathwater, guys. We've got all of these reasons to do it. I'm going to give you a couple of really lame, pseudo-intellectual reasons not to do it, and because I am an emotional cudgel, will use my ideology as a weapon against
literally
you.
Saying, let's ignore the positives.
Yes, you will have to bend to my will. So it says, however, despite all of these positive angles to such characters, the problem is that their inclusion. Oh, what? Inclusion. I thought inclusion was a good thing.
Yeah, you think so?
Okay, let's continue. Inclusion as a plot device may also be seen as a subtle form of racism. Viewed from this angle, this trope suddenly appears to identify more as a discriminatory tool only because you're looking at it that way, you weirdo. Rather than an empowerment device, it often comes disguised in. So they're saying that it's a disguise. It's a way to creep in racism, but that's not true. It's just your weirdo perspective of the world that sees it that way.
Right.
Like, okay, here's where my gripe is. When I complain about the way that they talk about white characters now, I complain about it in the context that they do those characters a disservice and they make them stupid and they make them annoying or they make them less than the rest of the characters. What we're talking about here is characters that are elevated that you have to seek out reasons to be angry at.
So aren't you doing the same thing, though?
No, I'm not.
Why not?
Because I'm saying that when they do it, they make that character lessen. They make them the butt of the joke. They make them the idiot. They talk down to them. It is always portrayed in a negative way. They are not talking about these characters this way.
I feel like we're in a dumb cycle, though, where it's
I
like,
don't think
we're pushing back.
There's no nuance to that argument. I disagree.
No, because it's like, dude, that's my whole point of like not reviewing everything through like a lens. Like Velma is bad because it's a bad show. Like I really I don't think the race swapping of the characters makes it.
Nobody
a bad
cares
show.
about the race swapping of the characters.
But a lot of people say that Fred is the only white one, and he's a buffoon.
He is a buffoon who is singled out constantly in that show.
See, I don't for whatever reason, I don't get that. Like, I didn't put two and two. Like, oh, he's the only white character and he's a buffoon. Like, to me, he's just the buffoon and he happens to be white.
I mean, it's said out loud.
They literally say
and
that he's the white guy.
Maybe it's like a bad example.
I won't agree with Brett on this. I do care about the race swapping. I do think it's antagonistic, and it's specifically anti-white. It's specifically because they want to steal a character that is white.
Yeah. But we're not even talking in that context here. We're talking about just about interpretations of characters that aren't race swapped. That's even off subject here. So we're talking about when you take a character that is inherently loved, that is made to be loved on these shows, a magical minority character. They treat the character kindly. The character helps. They don't like that the character is that they hate that the fact is that they hate that he's helping a white person.
Yeah,
that's what they hate.
Yeah.
They don't hate that the character is portrayed a certain way. They hate that he's being portrayed in this way and he's helping a white dude.
Because it portrays then the white person in that scenario as benevolent.
Yes. And when you swap this and you do what they're doing now, the white person is not helping. They're an idiot. And they're talking down to them. And they say stupid things and they act stupid. There is no kindness in the way those characters are written. There is endless amounts of kindness in the way these characters in the past were written. It's not the same thing.
Yeah, I agree.
There's no way to win anymore.
No, there's
if
not.
it's a black protagonist, you're tokenizing them. If
Right.
they're the villain, you're villainizing them.
Yep.
If they're a supporting character, you're pushing them to the background because you don't want to give them the spotlight, and you're, favoring white characters.
Let's even say that we agree with it. So they're calling it a subtle racist plot device. Even if I'm supposed to assume that that's true, what they're doing now is a not subtle racist plot device.
Are you ignoring the history of race in this country? Is that what's going on? Or is like you can't win? Like what you're saying is exactly right, Mary. Like there is no way out. And this is it's weird because I feel like I've experienced this my whole life, being South African and having a lot of these similar arguments in the 30 years that my country has now been free of the scourge of apartheid. We've talked about this. We've talked about how there is no way out. It is always going to be like, it's never going to be good enough. You bend the knee, you say sorry, you do these things. It will never be
way
enough.
out. It's to stop
talking about
this
it. Yes,
metric
exactly,
to
and to
all
stop,
the
to
content
stop
what their-
discussing race.
Do you know
And
what
that's
their
what
answer
Nelson
for this
Mandela
is?
said.
Their answer for this will be eventually nobody will make movies about other cultures. Everyone will be forced to make movies
and that's
just about their own.
that's
Like,
the flip though. The flip is that what happens if you do that and you just make everybody the same color of beige. The problem with it is you get rid of all of the cultures that make humanity so interesting.
Like if I was a child,
you can't appreciate it. It's called appropriating.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
okay, there's appropriation. There's black exploitation. I understand that, but there's a difference between being acknowledging and learning about another culture versus saying, oh no, I see what you're wearing, I'm going to wear it in my way and interpret it my way. But like now that's good and bad at the same time. It's
wild that like if you told me when I was a kid that there'd be a large portion of this country that was pro segregation, I'd be like, you shut up, man. I'm like, we had the civil rights movement,
right?
And it's not Nazis, it's not like far right extremists
that are pushing for it. Exactly.
It's honestly people that aren't. I don't think that
edgelord
that
wannabe
hateful.
college kids.
I feel like my goodwill has been spent.
Yeah,
true.
Like,
yeah.
No gesture of unity is appreciated or noticed
because they find something wrong with all of it.
Ever.
Right, literally.
And then they're surprised that white people are like, okay, I don't care. I'm just going to write the stories I want to write.
Right.
And look, we watched a lot of movies last year, and I didn't see wokeness in most of them. Like I saw very little of it. I do not see it everywhere. I see it in TV. It's worse in TV than it is in movies. And in these cases, I feel like it's more blatant.
It's like being nose blind, though.
In what way?
Yeah,
I mean,
I guess you're right.
I think if Brett, same age in the 90s, watched current day films, then he'd be noticing it. You've become like nose blind to sniffing out the wokeness in movies. But yes, it's more extreme in TV. It's lower stakes when you are pitching a TV show that's going to get discontinued in its second season anyway.
They don't have as much time to do like the stuff in TV's worse. It's in the dialogue. In the movies, it's more subtle. It's in the casting. It's in certain choices. But in the TV shows, it's in this really clunky, over the top dialogue, and it's in the characterization. Like I said,
I believe that Wakanda Forever was just like that.
That's I mean, yeah, there was the like, see, and even then, I took the what's her
I'm
name?
done accepting the subtle racism against white people.
When Okoye says
it's not okay.
When Okoye calls,
it's not funny.
When Okoye calls him colonizer, and she says so lovingly in her joyous tone, like I don't know why that one doesn't bother me. I get it. I'm not saying that I'm fairly interpreting this.
That was funny to me too, and because it was a movie. It's because you don't go around calling white people colonizers. Like it's an absurd thing to do.
Because you're living vicariously
through
these overpowered characters.
What I'm just saying, it's just an absurd thing to do.
People do that though.
That's the comedy behind it. That was the secret behind the joke.
It's also hard.
I know you said you have, but I'm just saying like it's normal people wouldn't go around doing that. Like it's an attack on some other.
The better argument you can make for that is he's literally a government. He's literally works for the government, so
and is helping them. Yeah. It's essentially the reverse of the trope that we're talking about, the magical minority. Yeah. In that film,
he's the magical minority.
What is his name? Martin.
Yeah, Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen?
Well, no. But here's the thing. No. With white, what I have seen is though with like white characters now, even if you are woke like that character was, and like totally acknowledge it, like of all this country's sins and past and everything, you're still evil by association.
It's the same
You're
thing for
"Oh,
Stephen King
it's
himself.
unfortunate
It's
that you're
racist.
evil. I know you're a good one,
It's
buddy.
racist.
It sucks
It's
that you're
racism.
evil, though.
That's what it is. It's racism because you're looking at someone's skin color and their appearance and assuming immutable characteristics about them. You're saying, okay, your skin color means this about you. That's racism, plain and simple. And I understand the whole there's structural racism. I understand that. It's only in some countries as well. It's not in every country. And that exists in other countries too. The same thing, but it's different race. It's not always white is on top, white is the one who's the best. Go to China and try and talk to Han Chinese people. They view you as lesser than them, I promise you.
A lot of these conversations we have are when we're viewing Hollywood. We're viewing the elites. We're reviewing rich, powerful people.
Hollywood
but then
is the
that
media,
all
the
drips
world.
down, and we end up attacking each other. And it's like,
you
got to realize, like, your neighbor that lives in the same community, the same zip code as you, buddy, I don't think he's got any historical advantages, man. I think you guys are both in whatever county. You know, you guys are both paying the same tax rate.
Right.
Like
Same
you're in
rent.
Yeah.
Exactly. Theo
Like
Von
you're
talks about
shopping at
this.
the same grocery stores.
Well,
It's like, but that's where the conflict ends up happening.
When
and it's
Stephen
like,
King ends up getting attacked on these terms, I like it because
hard for me to care.
He is someone who
True.
he lashes out at the people who don't uphold these standards, but at the same time his own art doesn't uphold these standards of like the new racism, the new homophobia. Like he and also bears mentioning the pedophilia that he includes in his books.
It's
he doesn't get backlash for that, but he gets backlash for.
well, that's what I was saying earlier with the 50-year-olds dating like children back in the day. Like that was normalized. Writing absurd, creepy stuff in your books
to a degree
was normalized. It's just like, oh yeah, that's
people
it's
often
not for
paint.
children.
One thing I really dislike, which shows how uninformed people are about history, is they say, oh well, back in Greece and Rome, pedophilia and pederasty were normalized. They were not. Neither was homosexuality. It was viewed upon very distastefully by many of the great writers that people will often say, oh, they viewed it as great. It's not true. Go and look at what they say about it. I guarantee you it's not. And I have no problem with people being gay at all. I literally I have many gay friends in my life. It's not the point. The point is that people take what they want and like cherry pick the information and say, this is what is the narrative. They create their own narrative just as much as anybody. You know, it's narrative manipulation. It's not exactly true. And
It's the destruction of love and art to me. Like to take
I
movies,
agree.
the examples they give for Stephen King, they reference Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile. These are
Great
movies that people love, that people adore, that will go down in history. I believe at least one of those is in
Shawshank Redemption example
and one
is
could
ridiculous.
One
Yeah,
could argue that
it
these
makes no sense.
characters
It's insane to me.
are the star.
Yeah.
Not some magical side character.
I
Like,
remember
people equate
Michael
screen
Clark
time
Duncan
to star.
from The Green Mile. I do not remember Tom Hanks. I remember
Right,
Michael
true.
Clark Duncan far
Right.
more.
True. Yeah, because they're the stars of the movie.
Like, and look, it speaks more to their perspective of the world that they go into
Right.
something that was made joyously with the desire to entertain people,
Right.
with a message for people
Facts,
to take,
dude.
and what they take from it is something of hatred, bigotry, and racism.
Right.
That says more about their view of the world than
Yep.
everyone else's.
Yep.
Do you think
100%.
that people? Why don't you think people said The Hangover is another example of this? Unless they have,
What about The Hangover was?
because they have. What was the character's name? That God, his name is escaping me, and I watch Community all the time. The gangster guy, the Asian guy.
Oh, well, what's so bad about that? Well, what's
He's just this wild, outlandish character.
yeah, because isn't he like hyper wealthy?
Is
the
he?
film?
I don't even remember. I should rewatch those movies.
I think in the
But
film.
I'm curious to why that hasn't gotten the same label.
Well, I
People
mean,
pick
a
and
lot of
choose what to
call
out.
It's unequally enforced.
Yes,
And I wanted
definitely.
to read out this Stephen King
Definitely.
tweet from a few days ago.
Yep.
He said, people who want to damn books for cultural appropriation are no different from those who want to ban textbooks dealing with black or queer identity.
Oh my
The
God,
flashpoints
dude.
are
I
different, but
can't
the
even.
lightning is always the same. Your ideas should not be disseminated. Stephen King is the last person who should be out here pretending to be like for the freedom of ideas.
Dude,
Yeah.
that just annoys
Right?
me so
Listen,
much.
Well, it's because
Stephen
they
King.
conflate and they don't
It's
understand.
conflation. There's a bunch of just total. Oh man, I think it might be over. Like 199.
We just need to move on from him. Like honestly, like listen,
Yeah.
he's
He
done,
fell off.
He's
Yeah,
done
he's
great work. He's
not
written
yet.
some great books, but it's over, bud.
Yeah.
Dude,
It's
we're
been
done.
over.
It has been. It has been.
I hate it because it's like when I read these articles, it draws such a dark cloud over so many joyous things that were made when I was a kid. Though, do you remember a couple of years ago when they were talking about how NFL team owners were the same as slave owners?
Yeah.
That's how far we've fallen as a society.
Yeah, it's so funny you bring that up. I was literally thinking about that today because or maybe it was yesterday, but the NFL's had a couple different staffing changes. And every year in right around the draft time in the spring, we'll get that comes up again. But every year teams fire this model minority coach they just hired and made a big PR deal about. And then they fire them a year or two later. Yeah. And I'm like, the teams that aren't making a big stink about that, it seems like the Pittsburgh Steelers, who've had a black head coach for like 10, 12 years now. And they're just like, dude, we're not playing your games. Yeah. He was the right guy for the job, so we hired him. He's doing a great job. We're keeping him on the staff. We're not like...
That's why I think
and he's vocal about it. He's like, yeah, I'd like to see more people in the community. He's vocal, but it's like as a team, they're just like, we're not, we're staying out of this.
Right. Don't take the bait. Yeah. Also, yes, Serge, we are getting dangerously close.
Are we there yet?
No, we're two.
Oh my gosh, I didn't keep track. I didn't know we were almost at 9.
We're
dude, that's
two
so
away.
Exciting. That's so exciting.
2 away.
Dude,
okay.
if we don't
Two crisis parties, guys.
Away.
You don't have much time.
I'm getting creeped out by Kellen wanting me to cut my hair so bad.
Dude, because I've never seen you with anything but your...
I just want you to do it. I didn't know.
I mean, you've known me since October, bro.
Yeah, and it's always been this.
Well, I don't drastically change my appearance that much.
Well, that's why it'll be awesome.
Mary, let's go to Super Chat.
Maybe if you just wear a beanie every day.
Yeah,
over the bald part
I can't necessarily wear the
or maybe just cut
wear the
half
beanie all
of
the
it,
time.
like you're the guy from Batman. Or just Two-Face.
Yeah, I'll also totally disfigure my face too while I'm at it. Why not?
There you go.
Yeah. Okay, let's start. Araptas of Stet said, when I was doing missionary work, I did skateboard in the pants and shirt. That's funny.
Woo!
Brad.
Thank you. One more, y'all.
2 more.
Sick.
Two more?
I can't even make out what it's...
It's so crazy. This is a good one. This is good work.
Yeah, I love my job.
Oh, that's good. I like it, dude.
William Mabel sent us $1 without a message. Thank you. Wayward Soul said, self-plug. New music
and there it goes.
Oh, what's up? I'm not going to give you my hair. You don't get my hair. That was not the agreement.
Wait, what? Oh, there it is.
Yeah. That's,
all right, we're going to get there. We're going to get there.
Oh,
Wayward Soul said, his new music under my username on all platforms. It's like The Cure meets Deftones. Also, Birthday Boys skit called Christian Mischief is LOL.
I'll give it a listen. What's his name?
What's the name?
Wayward Soul.
Is on
but
Instagram.
I think the U comes before the O in Soul. Thank you
Thanks,
again.
I like how everyone thinks I'm like scared to do this, but I said in the intro.
Well,
I've done it before. I have no fear. I'm down.
You're making a far greater sacrifice than I am. I'm just watching movies.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I will be held accountable. I will do it.
Will you review them? Like, give a 5-minute review.
I'm not going to review it, but I'll give my
that would
take.
be cool. Like
you
a 1 minute review.
One
like
minute
for each
review,
movie.
sure.
Yeah, make it into a short.
Of the show.
I can't actually say have an intellectual take on something.
You should practice talking like those commercials for drugs.
Yeah, what are we?
Off the
Cultural
effects,
commentators?
What are we?
What are we? Podcasters?
Analysts? Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Language.
Oh, sorry.
Vociferon, Herald of
JC.
Herald of the Winter Mists said, "Hey all, just wanted to stop by and let you know I work nights at a distillery and wanted to say I listen to your show when it hits Spotify every night. Anyway, Merry Candlemas."
Party time.
Oh, thank you.
Shout
And we try our best to get it out on the Spotify as quickly as possible. The other night, it was really funny. Like, I forgot to send it to Dane right away when the show was over. I go on upstairs. I'm like, oh, crap, I was about to go out and skate. I go send it to Dane. I send him the upload and the thumbnail. And then I get outside like 20 minutes later, and he's like, the thumbnail's crooked. Like, why is it sideways? I'm like, I just put my skates on. I'm not coming back inside. I'll be back in 20 minutes. So it was like a whole process the other night.
Porco Rosso Forever said, "What does Brett's crisis sound say if you play it backwards?"
Creepy.
But Managed 42 said, "Any chance you could review
I don't know what that is.
Skin.
Marink?
I don't know.
Skinamarink. Oh,
What is
I know
that?
what
It's
this
a
is.
song, isn't it?
No, it's. I just saw a video today. I forget who the creator was on YouTube who mentioned it. Can try and think about it quickly here.
Okay.
But it's awfully creepy. It's awfully creepy.
What is it?
I don't do well with creepy.
It's like it. Yeah. It was actually. He's a fellow Appalachian guy. What's his name?
Just Appalachian.
Can't remember his name right now. It's on the tip of my tongue. But it is definitely horror involved. It does involve like children being scared and stuff like that. So it's kind of on the note of like if it being okay and whatnot. But it's nothing like sexual or etc. Oh man, who was it? It was Wendigoon. Wendigoon.
Oh
did a video
yeah,
on it
okay.
today.
Because people have been suggesting Wendigoon for this show.
Yeah.
To come on here.
Cool
I don't know how
cool
much
guy.
Wendigoon fits in with Pop Culture Crisis.
I don't think he is very pop culture, surprisingly.
Is he?
I think he's more of a guest for you guys in IRL, I would say. But
Cool.
Anyways, yeah.
Biddy Beastly said, Disney Castle you mentioned, we always called the Emerald City because back in the day on the bridge over the highway, it said Surrender Dorothy.
Surrender
Yeah,
Dorothy,
that's
we
right.
got
That's
you.
right. Surrender Dorothy and Seven Locks Brewing in Rockville, Maryland. They make a Surrender Dorothy beer, which isn't bad. It's pretty good. They actually make a lot of good beers, but I do know exactly what you're talking about. Shout out to my Maryland homie.
Potatoes for Seamus said, Brett needs to check his messages for a Kellen special.
Perhaps
God.
we'll do that for tomorrow. Oh,
nice.
you won't be on tomorrow. I
So
guess.
potatoes. How you doing, G?
Caper2X said, if we reach 10 crisis parties, can we send Mary to the UK so I can go to Star Wars Celebration?
And complain. Also, there was
We didn't agree to that wager.
No, that's not.
Maybe
not
if we
on
get
the
to
table.
like 30, because it costs a lot. these
Somebody,
days to
dude,
travel.
somebody said yesterday, like there was kind of an annoying comment on the short about Star Wars Celebration where like they thought we were. Like, I don't feel like this was a fair argument on their part. They're like, "What do you care? Cosplay and drag exist." I'm like, those are not the same thing.
No, they're not.
And they're not the same thing in the context of children.
Cosplay, the goal is to take clothes off. Or, I'm sorry, it's drag.
Whoa, what?
Drag is the goal.
Where are
is to
these
take,
cosplay events?
No,
Sign
I don't
me
think
up.
That. Drag is not the point to take clothes off. Drag was initially intended to like bastardize and make fun of the appearance of women that dress themselves up. That was why it became popular in men's subculture as well, men that were initially not gay and then became gay, and then it suddenly became like, it became sexualized, like a lot of things do over time. But cosplay has always been dressing up, right?
They're both like, well, before the recent drag stuff we've seen, drag historically, and I'd say cosplay historically, both just teeter on vulgarity. Like
Yeah, for sure.
It's lewd content.
It's lewd content, without a doubt.
Lewd.
Without a doubt. It's not to be with children
You see
whatsoever.
the stuff these Twitch streamers do, and it's like, yes, you're that character, but you also did. It's like, Halloween. The joke is every girl's a sexy cat. Right, every
yeah.
costume a girl is on Halloween.
mouse,
It's
duh.
a sexy something, right? So that's what the
Right.
cosplay has turned into nowadays. It's like, oh, I'm sexy Optimus Prime. Like,
Where can I sign up for Sexy Optimus Prime?
That'd be sweet, actually.
so, jeez Louise.
There it is.
Does this audio? This audio doesn't feed into the actual. It doesn't feed into like their audio feed, right? I love that.
No, they have to. They're getting it secondhand.
It honestly sounds
True.
like when you're behind the speaker at a rave, so everything's
Right.
a little bit muffled.
Right, just muffled enough.
What was
Got it
that?
here.
We've got a Kellen deep fake
hold
video.
on.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm Gatsby.
Oh man.
That
Yes, dude.
That
yes.
definitely looks like someone who could be related to you.
That's pretty
Wow.
good. All right,
Good
let's
one,
go.
potatoes. That was dope. Good one.
Okay. Caper2X, Last of My Kind said, not LDS, but my friends and I built ramps at the church. Lots of pics of us skating in church clothes sometimes.
That's
Ska
cool.
music was played.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Hashtag early 2000s
Oh,
forever.
yeah.
Someone
Nice.
should do an
There-
apocalypse
I am
movie
sure
where,
there was
like,
some mighty boss tones
Yeah,
playing on a
shouts out.
speaker system somewhere. There was a trombone.
Shouts out, big time.
There was definitely a trombone being played
Someone
somewhere.
should
I
do
love
like
the
a-
part in Clueless where they're dancing at a club and they're playing ska.
It's so
like a
funny.
live band is playing
Not
ska.
rolling with the homies.
Like that
when
would
they're
never
shaving his head.
happen today.
Rolling with the
yeah,
homies
no,
when
never,
they're shaving his
never.
head.
It's over now.
Yeah.
Rolling
That was
with the
great times.
homies.
I want to see a movie where like the aliens come while like like a group of guys are like going around giving the good word of God, but they're all in their church clothes, and it's like the highways get shut down immediately. It's like they're trying to survive, but they're in these like church clothes the whole time, and they continue to spread the word of God throughout the show. Like, hey, we have fresh water and Jesus. Like,
who doesn't want Jesus?
Yeah.
You can only get our resources if you get baptized.
Yeah.
I do not wear polyester hair, okay? That's the best part of Clueless.
Once again, would never be made again. Nate Parrott said, if you guys want amazing music, listen to Pete and Boss. They are
yeah.
70-year-old
they're
British rappers who are better than a lot of the shite coming out today.
Excellent
and
use of
they
shite.
write their
Awesome.
own lyrics.
They're awesome, super inappropriate probably for YouTube.
Pete and Boz all day.
But you guys should definitely watch it after the show ends because
it's
they're
good.
a whole vibe.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Wyatt Kaldenberg said, for the 10th Crisis Party, play the Animal House's Toga Party, Toga, 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 the classic boomer party chant.
Maybe that will be next week's sound effect.
Good idea. Yeah.
Yesh said, Serge, remember to rinse with cool water when you shave your head.
He actually only rinses with tequila. Just honestly.
Yeah, just pour it directly on my head like this. Yeah, for real.
I literally
using tequila as aftershave.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Did I mention the show the other day? I think I did, where I did like a video like talking about making the new Crisis Party sound. I didn't have a hat on. Somebody's basically said, "You look old."
I thought that was me.
It was. I was like trying. I was like, ha. Trying not to be too deflated, but I can take the. You know, I can take
that's
it.
what you should add into a Crisis Party song, the Kawhi Leonard laugh.
You don't look old, Brett.
Yes.
You remember that, Brett? When Kawhi Leonard, the basketball player, had that really crazy laugh during the press conference?
Mm-mm.
I'll have to show it to you.
No,
where he's just like, that was his laugh.
It's not. You can't make fun of someone's laugh. It's the most. It's the most
guys,
honest
come
thing
on.
about them.
Don't body shame.
Nah,
guys.
I will. Thanks, though. X said, what do you think each other's most embarrassing on-air moments have been so far?
That's a good question. I'm curious about that for you guys.
Nothing immediately comes to mind.
No, not. I mean,
yet to come.
Just when you start a show from scratch and you have no radio or such experience, right? Like for me, I had been done for 2 or 3 years prior to even doing the show. I was doing what are called audio on segments for my skating, which is like I would do voiceovers for daily edits. So I was actually pretty comfortable talking, but that's not the same thing as doing multiple things at once and trying to not sound like an absolute moron, which I'm constantly fighting on the show every day. So most days it's me like getting annoyed with myself that I'm not as... Yes, it's me saying stuff like podcast. And being, yes, even somebody said that in the chat. They capitalized this podcast. Yeah. Is me like trying to do multiple things at once and realizing I don't have any like ability to do that. I can't multitask and trying to not sound like an absolute moron. So.
I remember like our first live show, we were really awkward and nervous in the beginning.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that it's embarrassing. It's just, it's like a part of our history.
Well, like when you're just doing the show and you're just recording it, it's just you and OBS. And now you're adding a whole nother element of using the YouTube, trying to figure out how to start the stream and all this stuff. It's literally just
whatever you say is permanent.
Fumbling around in the dark and figuring it out as you go.
Yeah.
X said, what do you think? Oh, no. Porco Rosso Forever said, Kellen, your theory about the past is interesting, but I don't even know anymore if we understand what the past was like or if we just subconsciously take our views of history from Hollywood movies.
Yeah, I think that's why Hollywood does it, and that's why it's so powerful.
I don't even remember what my theory about the past
You got to
was.
ask old people.
Yeah.
Like
they always say that it was better.
Yeah.
Almost always.
Well, I've always wondered.
Is that hindsight?
I've always wondered that. Like, do you think when like our grandparents were our age, were they having these conversations but with a different filter? It was just different context.
Yeah.
What did they think that the whole freaking world was woke? They just didn't have the word woke. Like, did they think that ish was gonna hit the fan? Like, I always wonder if it's just like our version of it.
Well,
like
the
this happens for every
window
generation.
has shifted dramatically over time. So what is considered like woke would be very different years ago.
Of course,
to what
but
is now,
is it truly just like, oh, different things scary? And that's always because
I think part of it is also like maybe it's different because old people in the world now, because of the internet, you're fundamentally living in a different world than somebody who doesn't spend any time online.
And then not even that, as well as like the smartphone.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's what I mean. I'm literally talking about like this thing that you carry in your pocket is a brain controlled device that most people don't really understand the power of. What?
Hot take.
I don't think that's a hot take. I think this is the most powerful form of thought manipulation that exists. Anything controlled by an algorithm can manipulate your brain. You can be angrier than you would ever be on a normal day based on what is shown to you. I still believe that Instagram messes with your algorithm on Sundays. I truly believe that what they show me on Sundays is fundamentally different than what I get the rest
I heard
of the
something
week.
wild. So I'm getting off work the other night. It was, 1 a.m.? I don't know what
Whenever
time.
you
He's like, we work late here. We take our jobs very seriously.
We do. Anyway, so I get in my car, turn on the ignition, car turns on, the radio's on, and there's an ad. It's like, if you need a lawyer, call so-and-so and Sons. Like, we've got your back. And I'm like, oh, it's another whatever ad read, waiting for this rock song. We listen to DC 101 in the car.
Me too. Elliot in the morning.
But
Mary has been going off about Elliot in the morning.
I freaking love Elliot in the morning.
So anyway, so this ad keeps playing. It's like, has your child been affected by Instagram use? I'm like, what? They're like,
seriously?
Contact us today. If you...
What are they going to do about it? That's my question.
Has Instagram and Facebook made you depressed? Like, has it caused you to be suicidal?
Twitter makes you
like,
angry.
What's the solution?
Instagram makes
like,
you
you're going to
depressed.
sue them. Like, there's a class action lawsuit. So it's
that's
like...
cool.
Yeah. So, like, you're absolutely right, Brett. Like, it's crazy. Like, and... I was thinking like 3 or 4 years ago, some higher up of Facebook was sitting before Congress. It was like, like we made slight algorithm changes. It wasn't Zuck.
Oh,
it was some girl. But she's like, we made algorithm changes and noticeably it changed the way people interacted with each other. Like instantly people got more angry.
They spent millions of dollars in research figuring out
even
what human
know.
emotions got the most engagement.
It's like when in the superhero movies, when someone gets like a weird space alien rock and doesn't know like what it does, doesn't quite understand the power that it's just been bestowed upon him.
Right.
That's Facebook. It has no clue how powerful
that's algorithms.
The phone in your hand
not
is.
Facebook, but algorithms.
And I was
and then our attachment to them. And
any of those apps.
And not just our attachment, our reliance. Like this is the first time in history, other than maybe a diary, that we put secrets. Like we put actual secrets into this little space, like ideas, thoughts, like parts of our personalities that we don't want to show anyone else. Like
phone will be the internet and the instant accessibility of it through your phone will be the downfall of civilization.
The Industrial Revolution, its consequences.
It's like people like when are the cyborgs coming?
Printing press and its consequences.
The cyborgs are already here.
In the show Person of Interest, which I always reference, they talk about how he invented this artificial intelligence that can look into every computer and get all of this information about every human on Earth. But he said, how was I going to get more information about people that isn't in these databases? In the show, he created social media to give the AI more information. Like that was the point of his creation of social media was so that people would reveal things about themselves that would never be like outside of your like so much of what you do, like I guess your buying habits. What if you buy your stuff in cash? In the show, he can the AI has access to not just your bank statements but also all of the security cameras in the store, so it can catalog everything you purchase.
I'm truly trying to think of like a number 11.
Does this mean you're gonna shave your head twice?
Going above and beyond the stated goal.
I'm super happy.
We can always count on you.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, YouTubers.
I'm just hopeful that it helps you guys out. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. I'm glad.
So let's do a couple more, and then we'll finish up with Jeffree Star.
All right.
Nice.
The last of my kind, I believe you're referring to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He said, do it armbar instead of striking a dudette.
No, you're definitely right. 100%. But it's like, jiu-jitsu's expensive and they don't teach martial arts in schools, so it's in a perfect world, right? Everyone gets taught jiu-jitsu when they go into kindergarten as part of PE, so you know just how vulnerable you are and just how powerful you are, because that's what it teaches you. It teaches you to be humble. It's like, shoot, like I didn't know we could break in that many ways as humans, and like physically,
Am I losing it, or did our guns not shoot anything?
It felt like this has never happened before. I will.
It's
I will
getting funnier every time you make the same joke.
We broke the PCC studio.
Creative Juice
sometimes it resets the thing.
Creative Juice said, "Wing question for the panelists: drums or flats?"
I'm resetting it, or I'm doing it again. There we go.
I thought you got another one.
That scream. The scream is great. It's way louder in person than you guys think.
It's way louder in person, guys.
Yeah, I love that.
There it goes.
Guys, he wants to know wings, drums or flats.
What?
I don't know what this means.
Drumsticks, wings,
drums or flats?
What's a flat?
Is that like the breast?
Chicken.
Right? What's a flat?
Yeah, what's a flat in relation to chicken?
I've never heard.
Why are you acting like you know?
Is that all he asks? Just drums or flats?
I don't know what that means.
I only have drums.
And then X sent the timestamp, but we're way past that.
Yes.
Italian PCC.
All right, let's save the rest. We will finish up shortly. Did you guys know that there is a conspiracy theory that Jeffree Star caused the retirement of Tom Brady? Isn't that amazing?
Because it wasn't the hundreds of $1 million contract to be a broadcaster.
No,
it
he's
wasn't
moving.
That.
No, he's saying
moving
he's
to
not doing that.
Wyoming, and he's going to settle down.
No,
with
he said.
his
I
new
was just reading
boo.
something today where he said he's not. He doesn't want to jump right into broadcasting.
He has a deal.
Doesn't mean he's going to start right away.
That's true.
Deal with whom?
Fox. Fox Sports.
Oh, it's those alt-right Yahtzees at Fox.
Yeah, I thought he signed the deal last year.
Jeffree Star has been posting these cryptic photos with an anonymous new boyfriend, and we all know he's in the NFL. So on the 27th, Jeffree said in a tweet, "Goodbye LA, time to spend time with my NFL boo in Wyoming." And then it was a picture of them on a private jet with their feet out holding hands, but you can't see the guy. And then there is another photo he posted on TikTok. He said in the caption, his team didn't make it to the Super Bowl, but he's 6'6" and plays perfect in the bedroom. Hard eye emoji. And so Jeffree's facing the mirror, but the guy is turned away from the mirror. So people think this is Tom Brady.
Thoughts?
And I just gotta say, it's almost disrespectful. That is a downgrade, and you know it, from Giselle.
I don't know why. I mean, first of all, I doubt there's an NFL boyfriend. That's my initial thought.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he just stirring up the rumor?
It's Jeffree
It's
Star.
very taboo still to this day to be gay in the NFL.
There's a
very taboo.
Yeah,
like
but
they
it's
make a
also
huge
just
when
Jeffree
you do
Star.
come out as being gay in the NFL, it is monumental still. Like there was a
Really?
Oh
Why?
yeah. Because
they all
of
slap
because
each other
it's,
on the butt anyway.
it's modern day Rome.
So true.
It's modern day
20.
like the Colosseum, like gladiators. That's what
Really?
NFL football is.
Tom
Yeah.
Brady is not 6'6".
He's like
No way.
6'5", 6'6", yeah.
I mean, why lie about your height when you're that tall anyway?
Because
Yeah, it's like no matter how tall you are, you can never be tall enough.
Another
Yeah,
thing
true.
I know about Jeffree Star from his past content is he said he has hooked up with and dated countless men in the music industry, specifically rappers, who he has said have him like in gag order, like
6'4".
NDAs that he
6'4",
can
I thought
never tell anyone that they hooked up because of the stigma around it, I suppose.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're probably married men.
It could be any of the.
Says Tom Brady
Carl
6'4".
Nassib's a good
I knew
guess.
Jeffree Star said that someone told him if he ever let the information out that they had hooked up, he would put a hit out on him. Jeffree Star said that.
Whoa.
I don't know. Jeffree
Sounds
Star
like
is a
Jeffree
super
Star.
dramatic person
Yeah,
that I'm sure
exactly.
exaggerates and hyperbolizes and embellishes a lot.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty extreme thing to claim.
So someone in the chat said Carl Nassib, and it could be him. So I was just before I read that, I was going to say it's probably NFL linemen because they're usually around 6'6". So Carl Nassib is openly gay. It's one of the big stories that I was referencing.
Well, if he's
Yeah,
openly
I-
gay, then why is he hiding the relationship?
Maybe he's
because
got a boyfriend.
apparently, that's what it is.
They're probably laughing together about how everyone
Now-
thinks it's Tom Brady.
They just hate Tom Brady.
His
They're just-
official height is 6'7", though.
If it is
so-
Tom Brady, that just makes that picture Tom Brady posted with his son all the weirder.
Yeah, definitely.
It's also,
you know, the picture. I don't want to show it here.
Yeah.
It's also funny too because like pro sports have been figured, like it's such a science now that like if you're left-handed, you can't play certain positions.
Yeah,
like I played catcher in baseball and I would have never made it past a certain league because I was left-handed.
Totally.
It's like hard to find left-handed catchers.
Left-handed?
When I played, I was left-handed. I mean, I'm still left-handed, but I'm saying when I played, I'm left-handed. So like now, if you're left-handed, you're a pitcher.
Yeah.
Like you're going to be a pitcher. Left-handed batters, those are coveted positions for people, and it's the same for height in football.
Yeah,
even baseball players, you want tall first basemen because they have reach.
Yeah, and leggedness in soccer, you can't play the. If you're a right leg or if you're a left leg, you're going to be on the left side as a left wing. You're never going to be. There's never going to be.
You know
a
what's
swap.
an
It's just
interesting
hockey as well.
Well, hockey, depending. That's what I was just going to say.
Right,
depending where you play.
It depends, yeah.
So, like, I believe it's in Russia, but I could be wrong. Like, if you're a righty, like, they teach you the opposite. So they teach the righties to shoot from the left side.
Yeah, they teach you that anyways.
Well, of course, they're going to teach you, but, like, that's kind of more the standard.
I do everything left-handed except for right and shoot a firearm.
Interesting.
So like it's really.
Do you throw a ball with your left hand?
I throw a ball left-handed. I play hockey left-handed.
You brush your teeth?
I right-handed.
And
I kick a soccer ball right-footed, but I skate. My natural skating foot is left-footed.
Which hand do you use to play on your phone?
Right-handed.
So like small detailed tasks are in the right hand.
But I throw a baseball left-handed.
That's
ambidextrous.
My paw is ambidextrous, and I'm like that too. I play lacrosse left. I play hockey left, but I bat right, and I play cricket right.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's like I'm swapped in a lot of
things. What leg do you kick with?
Right leg, but I also like with skiing, I grind rails right foot forward, and like rollerblading, right foot forward is my natural tendency.
I think isn't
that
how?
And that's a big like in the Midwest.
Though, right?
In the Midwest, you learn to spin both ways, but you're foot dominant. In California, and a lot of the
right. So then when I skateboard,
spin dominant in their foot foot ambidextrous.
When I skateboard and when I ride a snowboard and surf, I'm left foot forward and regular. So I grind rails naturally right foot forward, and I skateboard left foot forward, which is you wouldn't think that's the way, but it has made it's cross-translated a lot of things for me to help me better at certain things. Because
Weird,
of that.
huh? I've always wanted to, like, if I was writing a crime show, I wanted to include a detail that included something like this because, like, I shoot a firearm right-handed, but because I'm left-hand dominant, I wear my watch on my right hand, whereas mostly you wear it. And I wanted to include that as, like, a segment because a lot of times they're like, oh, he wears his watch in his right hand, he must be left-handed. Like, it's more complicated than that.
Someone replied to the Jeffree Star tweet and said, I'm bored, so the spot on his hand is a mark from an IV. He's likely a starter. It's on his right hand. That plus the legs being crossed to the left. I'd guess he's left-handed. The leg hair is light. He's probably a blonde or a ginger. Jeffree Star is 6 foot and size 11 male shoe. So I would guess he's slightly taller and has a bigger foot. 6'1" to 6'3", and since that is the Vans range, the largest size is 13 male. I would guess it's a 12, but don't quote me on that. Let's dig into the height. Hang on.
Wow.
Whoa. I mean, NFL player could get custom-made shoes.
Internet.
This is a lot of... There's a whole thread investigating
Web
this.
sleuth, keyboard sleuth. Let's go. They'll figure it out.
Tom Brady always looks like he just came back from chemo to me.
I know.
Remember when people said Jeffree Star hooked up with Kanye West?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was weird. I don't believe that one.
Neither do
I also had this called to my attention by our special guest for tomorrow who will go unnamed. I didn't know this, but Dave Portnoy, before he ran Barstool Sports, got in a...
deep trouble.
He got in deep trouble because he was taking pictures of Tom Brady's son who was naked on the beach.
Why are people so weird?
I don't know.
Why are people so freaking weird?
Barstool Sports founder David Portnoy defended a post on his website that included naked photos of Tom Brady's 2-year-old son, and this was back in 2011.
Bro, stick to pizza, man.
That's super creepy.
Isn't that weird?
Dave
I had never heard about that before.
Portnoy's odd.
JB says, I've seen off-the-rack sizes up to 16 for Vans, so...
True, very
true.
Could
be, maybe that information was false.
Yeah,
Immaculate
I think
detective work, though.
I think it's fake. I think it's fake news. Jeffree Star, I think
he's just trying to stay in
100%. verifiable fake.
One day he's talking about escaping from the Illuminati, and the next he's making everybody think
not
he's
to mention
Tom
that,
Brady.
like, what, 2-3 years ago, Lizzo had that song. She's like, "New man on the Minnesota Vikings," and they literally made videos going around the Vikings facility,
horrified.
and they're like,
"Who is this person? Get them off my."
They're like,
home.
they're asking the players on the Vikings. They're like, well, "I'm not dating her," and like everyone said they're not dating her,
forcing them to all be fat phobic.
Forcing them to all
And
seem like the bad guy.
It's not me, and it's like
they're like, "Look, she's beautiful, but I'm married."
And so I don't think it ever came out. And so it's like it's basically just lied.
Do you guys think it could be Aaron Rodgers?
No.
No.
Well, he does.
I know nothing about
like to do things with his nether regions.
What?
What?
Yeah, he's come
What is
clean
that
about
supposed to mean?
all kinds of weird like procedures and like butt therapy.
What?
Wait, what?
Yes, like he does like all this weird stuff.
What do
like,
you mean?
Like
What weird
cleanses
stuff?
and
Coffee
like
enemas?
You
rituals.
can't
and,
just
like,
drop that and let it go. What the hell does that mean?
Liquid Rudkowski.
Does weird stuff with his
Interesting.
nether region?
Yes, you didn't know that about. Why do you think he's so good at football?
No, I didn't
What
know
does that have to do with it?
Why would I know that? Why do you know
He
that?
because he talks about it openly all the time on every podcast.
On what show is he talking about?
He's talked
this?
about it on I think the Pat McAfee show, on Joe Rogan. He talks about like, yeah, dude, he's a man's man.
Wow.
What about that makes him a man's man?
Because
Getting
he'll
an
just take
enema?
like this crazy root that he finds and then just like puts it places like and just like he's just a caveman, dude. Yeah.
It's
crazy.
Too weird.
Mary, let's
That
finish
is-
the super chats,
Wow.
shall we?
Wow.
Yeah.
He's crazy.
Wow.
I can't believe you
Usually,
didn't know that.
Matt said, "I'm not enjoying the reading of Neuromancer, but I enjoy reflecting on the story. Any media that you enjoy the whole, but not the parts."
Oh, interesting. So like you like it as a whole, but there's aspects of it you don't like. Thoughts? I feel that way about House of Cards at times. There's parts of House of Cards I don't like. But as a whole, I like the production of the show.
I kind of feel that way about Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Like when I'm not the patient type that sits through those slower moving parts of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Well,
You don't like walking in fields? You don't like walking? No.
not a fan of just reading about people walking and walking and walking. Michael Aleo said #bald surge. It's real.
It's
Hey,
real.
It's true.
It's real.
It's
The
true.
Last of My Kind said people watching at Walmart at 2 a.m. #bring back 24
Yes.
hour.
Bring back
Yeah.
24-hour Walmart.
We need it.
Yeah,
Dude,
I
I
know.
had a-
It's
At the
been
very
weird.
least midnight.
Yeah.
We're at like
Seriously.
10 p.m. over here.
Yeah, it's
Sucks.
ridiculous.
It's so annoying.
So bad.
It's insulting, frankly.
You know what is 24-hour though? 7-Eleven.
These nuts.
No, got him.
That was like the
It's
funniest
literally
thing
not
you've ever
funny.
said.
It's not even
It was
funny.
like the best.
Sauerkraut said this is worth way more than $2. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shimmy Shelley said my face hurts from laughing at Italian voiceover.
Yeah. That was
Yes,
good.
the Italian voiceovers were incredible.
That was good. I was dying.
Waffle Sensei said Gross John is the man. Bad App is spiritual and wholesome. No, he is not. Stop spreading this fake news.
True.
Usually Matt said last week I had to show 2 young men how to pump gas. I didn't tell them not to top off though, and then ended up overflowing the tank. Big puddle.
Oh yeah, I used to
Bruh.
Were they from Oregon?
Bruh.
I used to manage a gas station, and what would happen is people, like when it's in Minnesota where it's very cold, you know how like when you put your in the gas tank and it's supposed to just stop automatically, it's got like the sensor.
It got
It won't
stuck.
do
It
that.
gets in the cold it doesn't
Yeah,
work.
exactly.
It gets stuck, and then it overflows,
Yep.
and then they want their money back
Oh,
for
no.
the gas they wasted, and I'm like, bro, what you want me to do?
Right.
Yeah.
In
The
Minnesota,
gas
do,
they wasted.
in Minnesota, do you guys not turn your cars off as well?
So
While
a lot of
while it's
people
running?
don't.
What?
Yeah,
'cause
you should.
In Idaho, they don't do that as well because if you sometimes with a bad enough truck or something like that, it'll just die and
It
you aren't
won't
going to
turn
start it
back
again.
on.
I
Yeah.
Some people just
need,
leave it
some
running.
redistribution of wealth here.
Come on, I always taking my money. Come on.
Kellen, by the way,
Fork it
guys, Kellen
over.
stacks cash the entire show.
I don't know why, but it's
I
helpful.
think it's just habit, you know.
I don't know. It's just something to do with my hand. If you guys had like fidget spinners, I'd play with those.
That's not even your only
good
stack.
idea.
You have
We
like a
should
whole
start,
other
like,
one
That
too.
you're being such a zoomer right
we're
now.
we're basically turning into a daycare. We put like that thing where you like move the blocks and the
Tim
wires.
Cast Daycare.
Like it's like it looks like a
Yes.
doctor's office in here.
Yes.
X said this section on a moment with Ian is also gold.
I'm gonna have to rewatch the whole thing later.
Mark Reyes said, "How about every 10 crisis parties you guys review the first 3 to 6 episodes of an anime?" P.S. Brett, did you ever check out Vinland Saga?
I did not see Vinland Saga. I don't even know where it's available. I will have to check it out. I'm gonna check out Lockwood & Co. or whatever it was next. That's my.
I'm
next
not
thing
committing to the anime thing. Sorry.
True.
Yeah. Gross John said, Brett, don't play the Italian dub clip. There's a copyright. Any other part? Yeah, well, too late.
Too late.
Short Bus Bully said, as another community superfan, Gross John definitely gets a sub.
Yes, good. He subscribed to his channel. Excellent.
Caper2X said, can we talk about the Book of Mormon instead? Make mine Marvel. I don't know anything about the Book of Mormon.
I really want to watch that. It's supposed to be hilarious.
Joseph said, is it possible to super chat without the super chat being read aloud during super chat time? Honestly, my aim is changing the hosts into my POV hashtag sign me. Well, I mean, if you don't want to have yours read, like I guess
you could put "don't read out loud" on there.
Yeah, you could say don't read it.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Changing the host into my POV?
I don't know.
So you're just trying to
point of view? What?
Is it like remote viewing? What's going on here?
Yeah, that's.
That didn't make much sense. You should explain yourself.
I'm startled.
Wait, Brett, you've not watched Brink?
I've seen Brink.
Oh, okay.
Of course I've seen
Brink. Brett has to watch Brink here, and I was like, dude.
It's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I know. That's like, dude. Okay, good. No,
like,
just making sure.
Fun fact, I have a Team X-Blade shirt downstairs.
Sick,
and I wore it skating one day, and I made an edit, and Val from the show liked the comment on Instagram. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, liked the post on Instagram.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
wow,
I was never a Soul Skater.
No pup and sets for me.
Sponsors right away, like
X-Blades all day. Hell yeah.
Also, the biggest insult of that movie is them pretending like him trading in his Solomons was like he trades in his Solomons for a pair of crappy RB Dirks.
Yeah.
And Solomons were infinitely better skates, but he gets the new RBs. He's like, whoa! I'm like, what? You're downgrading, you moron!
Yeah, true that.
Ridiculous.
True that.
Savrex said those who dispersed around the globe centuries ago can now absorb the technology and culture of those nations. The more nation guilt felt, the easier.
Well, is that why our nation is held to be so guilty all the time now? Why we're supposed to constantly feel guilty for everything?
Halls and the Kid said sunken cost fallacy activated. 10 parties, let's go.
Yes.
Yeah, true.
Savric said the subliminal slant on all media is everywhere. A lot of these issues, there is no right answer.
There isn't a right answer to a lot of it. Like the simple answer would be like just go back to making movies like you did in the 90s and the 80s, but that will never happen. Like you're like the world has fundamentally changed. The people hired at these companies have fundamentally changed. The structure in which these companies fund their movies has fundamentally changed. Right. The amount of businesses has been shrunk down into a smaller, consolidated couple of conglomerates. So there are less choices. There's less vision.
Gross John said, Brett, you're good. You didn't play the copyright part. Okay.
Perfect.
Nice.
Surgeon Kellen, check out the video. You guys are in the random out of context section.
All right.
Ooh,
Sick.
okay.
All right.
Mark Reyes said, Key and Peele did a sketch about two magical black men fighting over down on his luck white boy.
Have you guys ever seen the one where it's like the cops outside the guy's car and he's like, don't grab that gun, and it's like a 5-minute segment of the guy reaching slowly for the gun, and then the guy finally at the end grabs the gun and holds it on the cop, and the cop goes, oh, like it's like how people expect police stops to go, where the guy's like, don't do it, and it's like slowly he's like, and he just reaches over, and it's like literally a 5 minutes. It's incredible.
Vinny Beasley said, Kellen, whether or not you view it through a racial lens, they are, and they are telling you they are. You don't have to talk about it. They'll do it for you.
Yeah, like so the argument here for a lot of it is like, do we make it worse by talking about it? I don't think so.
Talking about what?
Like
I think so because you're given power, because it's not.
No, I disagree. I disagree. Like I used to take that point of view.
The concept like of having
they're going to make that content
never be the
either
nerd
way.
that brings it up, but if it's being presented right in front of you,
they're making the argument either way. There has to be somebody who pushes back.
I'm just trying to think of like The Little Mermaid, for example. We all agree that it went totally woke in this new live adaptation.
We haven't seen it yet, but we can guess.
But we're that's our prediction right now. Imagine if we just didn't talk about it. How little
it wouldn't matter.
I guarantee most of those views that it got was like
it's AstroTurf's
was like
hype
this is
would
ridiculous.
be
it's not going to stop them. Yeah, it's not going to stop them from making the stuff.
Yeah.
It
So
will
doesn't
because I think it's
matter. No, it will
shock.
not.
There's shock content there.
No.
There's shock value.
There's-
That's
we're
why
in
it's
a- we're-
happening, and every time people freak out.
We're in the post-profit era, and they don't care. The message is more important than the profit.
Maybe Velma's for shocking people. Race swapping Little Mermaid is about
I don't think you
giving
can
children a first impression of this story such that the original is completely erased from cultural consciousness.
Think about what you said earlier about like in the future, people won't even think about history. They'll just think about movies they've seen about history. Then people will be like, Anne Boleyn was really black. That's amazing. I didn't know that.
Right.
It's about changing the future generation's interpretation of
It's
a character
retconning.
that has social significance beyond this time period.
Yeah, retcon.
So
Halls and the Kid said MSM and Hollywood are trying to resurrect racism. Reality doesn't match to narrative they're trying to spin. People don't go outside enough.
people definitely do not go outside enough.
Dumbledore said that's how propaganda works. If it isn't being received, the message isn't changed. The volume is cranked to an extreme. Same old story. That is all.
The white pill of that is the Michael Malice approach, which is that if the propaganda wasn't necessary, they wouldn't do it. So it is necessary.
Yeah, I've seen that make the rounds on Twitter a lot. Linda T said, found $2 around the house to put towards the she just had a razor emoji.
Yes.
Are you gonna actually shave it with a razor or just buzz it?
I've joked about him doing the Andrew Tate look, and he's like, dude, I should
Just
actually do
shiny.
that. Yeah, he's like, I should do
just
that.
buzz it.
Straight up as reflective as a mirror.
With the sunglasses.
Someone in
Stone Cold Serge Austin.
Yeah, someone in the chat mentioned that it was just gonna asking for getting attacked and being called like a skinhead and stuff. So I'm like debating what I'll do,
Oh, no.
but
Just shave your head.
yeah, I'm just gonna shave my head.
Well, a
I've done it
buzz is
plenty
not
of
a
times.
shave.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, just buzz your head. That's what I do.
Is that all you're required to do now?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna do it for content though, so I'm gonna wait until I get
If
this
you don't
figured out.
shave it straight up, they're gonna be like, you didn't fully commit.
Oh yeah, but people are gonna complain about that anyways. But I'm gonna do it. I promise.
When
I
you say
promise.
shave, I like what I did before. I shaved my head.
Yeah.
That was buzz.
Yeah.
I use those terms interchangeably.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a 1 or a 2.
Okay. Savric said placebo racism, placebo masks, placebo phobias.
What's the one phobia? The fear of long
Oh,
words.
I read.
Oh, yeah, I forgot
There's
that one. It's a
apparently
long
there's
one.
one you can be scared of Korean people.
Ugh.
Really?
I learned
That's
that one
just
today.
being racist.
You can make
though.
anything
No, but
up and make it, and put it
specifically
in
Korean
Latin.
people.
Yeah.
Also, the fear of palindromes is a palindrome.
Yeah, it's funny.
The actual fear of palindromes is a
Really?
palindromic
That's funny.
word. Yeah.
David Wilson sent us $1 without a message.
Thank you, Dave.
you. And True D Jones sent us a huge super chat. Thank you.
The
No
next two,
message.
yeah.
Oh,
I
man.
hope that you are happy with the results. And Airtez 00 said, psych, you insert N-word here, you thought. Bring that hair over here, boy.
Why?
I'm not gonna
Another
give my hair
big
to you.
super chat. Thank you.
Well, yeah. Shout out to what's his name that didn't leave a message.
True D Jones.
True D Jones. Shout out.
Imagine
man.
having such a small ego that you can just casually send $200 without a message.
Yeah.
Like I would want to say something.
Small
Yeah.
ego or big bank.
Or large bank account.
He's
One
just
of the
sitting
two.
there.
both.
He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of want to see him cut his hair.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm with
the
it.
whole
Beep,
I'm
thought.
boop, bop.
It achieves
Bing
my
bong.
goal of allowing the chat to, or not the chat, the show to gain money. I'm happy that it does that. I'm
Yeah.
happy that you guys were willing to do that too. I will cut my hair. Maybe I was going to cut my hair anyways. You'll never know.
Yeah. Tacti Platy said, hi, Serge and Kellen. You two are my favorite guests after Chris Bertman.
Yeah, Chris Bertman's tight.
Yes
Shout out Chris
said,
Bertman.
thank you for your sacrifice, Serge.
Yeah, sure.
Bad Adam 12 said, shave your head, shave your head, shave your head, shave your head. Mary's a cutie.
There you go.
Unrelated.
Nice.
Drifter 233 said, coming from a car guy, I'm really glad some of y'all pushed back on Tim Fast and Furious franchise. After the fourth one is dead to me. No longer about cars.
I never said it was about
Was it
cars.
about
I don't
cars
care.
in the original?
Family.
Yes, the first two were definitely car-heavy themes. Oh, I guess the first three are car-heavy themes. I don't care if they're about cars. It's awesome. It rules.
FFCU is the best cinematic universe that exists. It's just the
it's
greatest.
incredible.
It's
It
about
doesn't-
family, and that's it.
It's all that matters, man.
It's just family, guys. Family.
Actually, I actually think the Conjuring universe is better.
The what?
The Conjuring universe.
Donut.
There are enough
Annabelle.
movies in the Conjuring.
There's like 5 or 6 of them now.
Fast and Furious universe.
There's not 10, but there's a lot.
Fast and Furious, FFCU. So it's the only one that exists.
Bobcat said, I could see Mary being Gadget Hack and Wrench.
What?
And then I looked up that character because I had never heard of this character. It's from Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
Yes. Oh my God, it is.
This is before my time.
Yes, I mean like way before
Way
your
before
time.
my time.
That does look
But
like
she's
you, Mary.
cute. She's cute.
That looks like Italian.
Holy
you.
crap! I haven't thought about Rescue Rangers. I think somebody on Twitter just the other day posted a picture of Rescue Rangers. I got really excited. Like, holy crap!
Gamer2X said, Mary, we can send you in a pet carrier, cheaper than a coach ticket. Get you back, on the other hand, could be a problem. Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, you might get stuck in quarantine for a certain period of time.
Yeah.
True.
Big Dave said Surge. Thank you.
Big
Porker
Dave,
Rosso
yeah.
Forever said Kellen and Surge shows becoming my favorite.
Yeah.
They're great. Name a more iconic duo.
Oh,
I'll wait.
True.
Shucks.
I'll wait.
I'll wait.
I'll wait.
What
Brett
about
and
Mary and
Mary,
Brett? Yeah, I was
yeah.
going to
Yeah,
say
Mary
Mary
and
and
Brett.
What about them?
Grofty said, on the subject of bass-laden songs having an effect on people, consider that the first bass you hear or feel is your mom's heartbeat. Love to moms.
I agree with that.
That's insightful.
Love to mom.
Interesting. I'd love to see what the frequency ranges are on that.
1,000-foot deep end
Scope
said,
some others. Can I get the frequency real quick? Yeah, just for research.
Yeah, just put a mic
for
on.
research purposes. 1,000-foot deep end said, early PCC episodes are like listening to the back catalog of a great band you just discovered. Everyone has to start somewhere.
Yeah. I remember right when the show started, I don't remember who posted it, but they were like, everything you do, like it has a starting point somewhere. It's like your first song is going to suck. Your first podcast is going to suck. Your first piece of art is going to suck. Like that's absolutely true.
Well, I don't think it sucked, but
Well, I mean, like I'm going all the way back to like when it started. Like, yeah, it was rough.
all the way back,
It's
all
like-
the way back.
Like back. It was even rougher in the beginning. Yeah.
I wasn't
Everyone's
here
a
for the
beginner.
very
Is a better way to say
That's
that.
what it was very
Everyone's a
rough.
beginner.
We
at
should
some
do
point.
some kind of like either real or digital time capsule to commemorate PCC before Freedomistan opens.
Freedom Studio.
Freedom Studios.
Be on the lookout,
Freedom
guys. Freedom
Studio.
Studio coming in hot. Let's go.
I was happy when I realized I had been here for like, like more than half of the show's existence, finally. Raven Thor said, my grandmother said people talk so much more now than when she was growing up. She said people used to be fine with being quiet.
True.
I also think people are like bad at small talk because they're not curious about others.
Yeah, that quietness will come back.
Yeah,
I
that's.
think it'll come back.
I don't really like small talk.
I don't like bashing small talk for
But
the sake of it.
No, it's like I do I'm fine at small talk, but it's like it's.
You're
not
really
something-
good at it,
but
actually.
I'm not. I don't relish it because I'm a more private. Like I'm a more quiet person. Like not on air. So, but you know, if it has to be done,
Someone's got to do it.
someone's gotta do it.
Okay,
call Brett.
clarified. He said wings have two shapes. Flats have two bones. Drums one.
Okay.
I didn't know
Drums,
that.
then.
I don't eat wings.
Neither do I.
Drums are
I like. Or have you seen that meme? It's like how guys who eat boneless wings eat, and it's like a guy in like a high chair. He's got
Here
the bib.
comes the airplane.
Yeah, he's got the bib.
That's funny.
Which sauce would you like?
Yep.
The last of my kind said, Brett and Serge, I thought I was the only randomly ambidextrous person. It's really helped me in drumming. Maybe I should get a job at Timcast now. LOL.
I wouldn't. consider
Everyone
that-
who works here has to be ambidextrous.
Why do you think Serge and Brett both are button pushers?
Yeah.
Like live producers.
Interesting.
Doing multiple
yes.
things at once.
Interesting.
I mean, like Lydia would be like, I kid you not,
Oh,
you'd be
dude,
looking at her and
it's
she'd
a
be like,
She has, like,
superpower.
she's like texting.
Tentacles.
She's doing this. She's talking. She's button pushing. She's got like multiple apps open on her phone, like in multicam. Like in
I feel like
multi-screen.
Lydia's like, you know, when you see those photos of like a person with like 500 phones like on a wall in front
Oh,
of
phone
them.
operators.
Like the what are
Phone
like a
surges.
bot
They're literally
farm?
called surges, by
Yeah,
the way.
but, like, I'm like-
funnily enough, cool name.
you got to actually be fast at that. Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
actually
you do.
like it's not an easy job. And I'm like Lydia could probably do that like cake. You know, just like do.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Mission Fishing said, hey, Brett, which hand do you play beer pong or darts? Do you consider yourself ambidextrous in any task, sports, etc.?
I don't consider myself ambidextrous at anything, though I did for a good year. I spent at least an hour trying to learn to shoot firearms left-handed because of a shoulder problem with my right. I throw darts. Oddly enough, you were talking about I throw darts left-handed, and I play beer pong left-handed, but I write right-handed. So I do almost all the overhand motions this way.
That's darts though, because that's basically a pencil in your hand.
Yep, I throw a dart left-handed.
Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Drifter233 said, on some older Japanese cars, the ones I tend to like, you can run them while filling up, but I don't. LOL.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
most
cool.
cars. Most cars are totally fine with that.
They tell you not to.
You definitely shouldn't.
They're always gonna do what they tell you to, Kellen. You just
Are you a sheeple?
Oh,
No,
dude,
just kidding.
that is a
geez.
word. I'm sorry.
I never thought
Everyone
about it
needs
that
to
way.
get rid of that word.
Sheeple is so
Sheeple is
annoying.
cringe.
I hate
Remember
that word.
adulting?
Cringier than saying cringe.
It's
Yeah,
become so
true,
cringe
true.
that I use it as an ironic.
Brett, are you good at
True.
adulting?
I hate that one too.
I hate
I hate
that.
that.
That's the worst invention of the millennial generation. Is the adulting word.
That's when
It drives me
that's like
crazy.
where it
They've
all started
just
to go
it's like
bad. is when that
quiet
word was
quitting.
popular.
So just doing
Ugh,
your job.
So dumb.
Quiet quitting.
I've seen people with children in public wear a shirt that's like, hate adulting today or
Quiet
whatever.
quitting at least is actually describing a phenomenon that's always been around.
Quiet
People
quitting is-
aren't gonna quit. They're
It's
gonna
probably
do.
even easier to quiet quit before cell phones.
They're gonna They're gonna do the if
There's,
you're unhappy at your job, you're not just gonna stop taking money. You know,
Yeah.
you're either gonna find a new job, and until then, you're gonna do the least.
It's also worse than I think a lot of this it's born out of the era of ironic t-shirts.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Ironic t-shirts were the worst.
Well, people
what?
also, if you're happy at your workplace, even if you do have a new venture coming up, so you'll be leaving that job.
Yeah.
If you had a good time, they treated you well, you're still gonna put in effort because you're like, I want this to succeed because it helped me succeed.
It's also really funny. They're what was the other one where they're talking about just apply for that job even if you're not qualified. Even if you don't think you'll get the job. I'm like, so what you should be doing anyways.
Yeah.
You
right.
should literally be doing that anyways. You should apply for every job you want even if you don't think you'll get the job.
Yeah.
Right. True.
Porco Rosso forever said, I'm hoping PCC Italian style can be the beginning of the PCC fan fiction era.
Is that an era?
I don't know if I want the PCC fan fiction era.
Yeah.
Fan fiction gets pretty weird.
A little weird.
Joseph said, there's no way to super chat without you reading it. Well, why do you want it to have a message if you don't want it read?
Well, you can just send it without a
without
message.
a message.
Yeah, you can send it without a message.
Gibbs
I'm
money.
confused.
Gibbs.
And Lane sent us a thumbs up, and that is all.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for everything today. And Serge, thanks you a lot, right, buddy?
Yeah,
exactly.
rad. I will do it. I promise.
Taking the fall.
Yeah, it's got to be content though. If it's not content, I'm not going to do it because content
We're-
is king.
We're content creators here, guys.
Yep.
Before we go, would you please like this video? Leave a comment on this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to this channel, or I guess thumbs down if you didn't like it. Be honest. After
Still
this
engagement.
episode, yes, it's still engagement. After this episode, please check out our Velma episode 7 and 8 review. You can see the life drain out of my eyes as I tried to get through this awful show. I think you guys will enjoy it very much. It's right here on the channel. Serge, my friend, let everyone know where they can find you.
You guys can find me on Twitter at KellenPDL. I am pretty active on there. I'd like to get more people following me though, so if you guys could follow me, it would be greatly appreciated. Again, that's at KellenPDL. Thanks. See you guys later on the Timcast IRL show. Peace
Perfect.
out.
Kellen, where they can find you?
So I guess you can find me there, Serge. I'm not playing this game today, but
He's like, you can also find me at
you
Kellen.
can find
Yeah,
you can find Serge at serge.com where you can see in real time his attempt at understanding what Twitter is and just how evil and dark and awesome it is.
It's so crazy, dude.
But yeah, thanks for the shout out. He shouts me out on IRL every once in a while, so it's nice. But yeah, check me out, guys. Thanks for having me.
Perfect.
Right.
Mary, where can
It's
they
been a
find
fun
you?
show. If you want to look at pictures of me on Instagram, you can find me there at Mary Archived, and you can send me some hate on Twitter. That is also Mary Archived.
Perfect. Guys.
Who runs the Discord?
We don't have a Discord.
We don't have a
There's
Discord.
no
No
Discord.
Guys, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on both Instagram and Twitter at Brett Dasovic. The show is here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. We are also on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you'd prefer to listen rather than watch. And on social media, we are on Twitter at PopCulture_show, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. We'll be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then, guys.
Bye.
See ya.